What's going on, my fellow A-Plussers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC television, and movie news, streaming live on our Facebook page, along with our YouTube page as well, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for certainly joining us today. I know we missed you guys last week. It was, in fact, Mother's Day. I certainly hope everybody enjoyed your Mother's Day weekend for sure. But the fellas are, in fact, now back. It's not just myself, but we actually have the whole crew joining us today. What's going on, fellas? It's good to see all your handsome faces in the house.
Yeah, it's good to be here for sure.
I got to admit, Stuart, I'm really loving the background, man. I'm liking that you're moving from the shed to the bedroom, my guy.
Yeah, I'm loving it too. And yeah, it was great because before what I did is I had like my editing stuff in my room, and then I had my like streaming stuff in my shed. So now I've just kind of moved everything to my room, so it's like all in one convenient place now. I like it.
I like it.
And then
yeah.
I also got the new. Wait, no, I think I had this last time we streamed, but I'm really loving this new chair. I'm loving that I don't have to lean forward constantly or anything. I actually have support now for my back. It's great.
Look at us with the gaming chairs, man. The production quality just rising on this show.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Indy? Good to see you, man. I'm digging the hat. Every time I see that type of hat, for some reason, I go to LL Cool J for some reason. I don't know why.
I mean, if y'all want hats, I've been asked for y'all addresses for merch.
Oh yeah, send me some stuff, man. Here, I'm a private chat you right now with my address because it's funny. We went to a baseball game last weekend to the Texas Rangers out here. Even though I'm a Yankees fan, I went to a Texas Rangers game, and my girlfriend and I were shopping for some apparel, and they had a hat just like that for Texas Rangers, but it was like army fatigue. She tried to put on my head, but with all his hair, it just wasn't a look for me, man.
No, the one thing I like about these hats is that they have the adjustable size with the string.
Ooh, okay.
So that you can get the bigger space. But I do you one even better. I make sure that the ones that come out to you guys, they'll have the nobody logo on the one side, but instead of like the outfit O, it'll be the A+ Hero Report logo.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying, right?
I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Yeah. I literally just moved from Louisville to Fort Worth, so I'll send you my address here at the end of the show.
Dope.
Here.
But it's so good to see everybody's faces, man. We got a ton of topics that we're going to be getting into. A lot of topics that I'm actually really eager to go ahead and talk with you guys about. But just remember, guys, if you guys are watching us live, we always want to know your thoughts as well. We don't mind talking amongst ourselves for sure, but we always love discussing with you guys if you have any thoughts about some of the articles or topics that we definitely bring up. So let your voices be heard in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular video actually winds up airing. Who do we have in here with us today? We got AJ certainly coming through, along with Edward Sanchez Productions in here as well. Thank you very much, Eddie, for certainly coming through. And then if people wind up straggling in last minute, make sure everybody certainly feels welcome and part of the family. But you guys know how we do around here. We usually have our honorable mentions before we get into our main topics for the day. I don't know. Did you fellas end up picking up any honorable mentions this week to talk about?
I got a couple.
The reason I'm here.
There's
He's like I'm bouncing after honorable mentions. I'm done.
I'll just like kind of go through them real quick and then talk about like the one that I actually do think is really bizarre. But I guess like a couple like super quick honorable mentions. We got a new Dragon Ball Super movie that's been announced. So that gets me excited, of course, because I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, of course. And then the other thing is Love, Death, and Robots. I'm not sure if you guys have seen season 1 yet, but season 2 is now on Netflix. Only 8 episodes, sadly. But regardless, it's still definitely worth a watch. I think like the first one was kind of underwhelming. Like it was kind of funny, but like I also really didn't like the art style of the first episode, but then like once you get past the first episode, that's probably the worst, but it's still okay. After that, it gets really good. Some of the episodes that they got after that. And then the actual honorable mention that I had for the show, I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but my girlfriend, she collects Pokemon cards. So a lot of times we like to go to either Target or Walmart to get them. But recently, I guess they've decided both, or currently just Target, but Walmart is rumored to be doing the same thing, that they are going to now stop selling trading cards because apparently 2 people got into a fight in the parking lot over some trading cards. And I just found this hilarious because I'm thinking like, anytime, especially like with Black Friday sales events, think of how many times people get injured during those events over like the dumbest things, like over like, oh my gosh, the new design came in and it's on sale now for the holidays and that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, think of how many people have gotten injured and yet they still do those sales events every year. And yet a couple of nerds get into a fight at a parking lot. And now we're like, nope, we got to take trading cards off the shelves now.
Is this what our communities come to? Nerd fights over Pokemon trading cards, guys?
Yeah. So
I heard a lot about that. I just left working in the mobile department in a Walmart, and the hand-me-down for management there is not necessarily the violence, it's they're losing too much money on theft. Because the markup on the markup, especially on what they're telling me, the Magic the Gathering cards, compared to what they're making off of them, isn't enough, because the packs are going for a lot. And then I actually saw packs of these cards where I collect Magic cards. I don't play as much anymore, but like I got cards that I busted out of booster packs lately that are worth $120 for, you know what I'm saying, the $5 I spent on, you know what I'm saying, a single 15 card pack. They have people which you're guaranteed to get a $7,500 pack out of these $45, $50 booster boxes. And they're opening the boxes and hot gluing them back closed. Taking the cards out because that's the one loose card that's in there, and then putting them back, you know what I'm saying, on the shelves. Like, they're losing so much money on the stuff because of theft is ridiculous. It's just too much.
Crazy.
That makes a lot more sense now. I had only been told that it was because of that one fight, but like now hearing that actually is a good reason of why you would want to change things up.
And then you got people who own card shops or people who are selling the cards online and like TCG Player and different things like that, who are coming in and they're buying the entire stock at one time because they know they're going to make their money back, you know what I'm saying, off of either sealed packs or they know one card's in the box. And then you get people coming in constantly when the new cards coming in, and it's just getting to the point where it's not worth them carrying them in order for the one or two people coming in buying the entire stock. So
gotcha. I'll say this though, that's actually another point that you kind of bring up, is that it is going to be better, I think, in the long run for trading card stores though. So like even though like, you know, originally I thought like it's kind of a really weird thing for you know, stores to just kind of give up completely on trading cards, I do think in the long run it is kind of better, you know, economically for people who are like actually trying to keep their own like trading card stores like open, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because you even had Magic the Gathering do the little Godzilla thing, and then the pandemic happened and the movie got pushed back. You know what I'm saying? I think that kind of hurt their momentum on what they were doing, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of comic book stores that deal in trading cards and stuff like that too, where this could help an influx of people going in there to go get their cards. And a bunch of shops around me would actually sell loose cards. They'll buy extra booster boxes, pop open packs, and then sell the cards loosely for a lower rate than what you would get from online and stuff like that. It should help people flood back into those stores instead of going to the Walmarts and the Targets and buying everything up.
Yeah, my local comic book store, Boomerang Comics, they definitely sell a bunch of like Dungeon and Dragon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, a bunch of all that stuff, because they hold like tournaments, I think, like every Friday evening over at their comic book shop. So yeah, they're definitely pretty big over there. What about you, Indy? You got an honorable mention for us today?
Oh, definitely. And I think this is gonna be right up your alley, man. This was it's announced, although the name of the book hasn't been announced. In September, we're getting a new Jonathan Hickman X book.
Ooh.
We have no idea what it is, but we all know that Hickman's been like the prime person when it comes to this new X-Men resurgence that we've been having with House of X. What was that, 2019?
Yeah.
And he is overseeing like the monthly X books in addition to like writing the core X-Men comic. But as far as we can tell, Marvel is kind of teasing a new monthly series from Hickman to begin in September. They're keeping the title and everything under wraps. We don't know what it is, but rumor is that it's probably an Uncanny
Ooh, okay, nice.
So, and he is definitely spearheading whatever is going on, and it's supposed to run alongside like Dugan and Lazarus X-Men book. So I'm really interested in seeing this, and it's long rumored that it's going to focus on more of McTaggart, and
I
that's
feel like we're getting
something
back to the
that's
main
something we
storyline.
haven't seen her since like what,
The
Powers
House
of
of
X
M,
number
yeah,
6.
power, yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what they go, because I've been wondering what's been going on with that character after they built her up like they did.
Man, I'm super excited for that. I had no idea that he was coming out with another monthly. I am wondering if it'll be Uncanny X-Men, or because I mean, we've seen the other like Uncanny titles too, like for X-Force and things like that in the past. But I definitely do feel like, especially with this brand new team of X-Men that they're recently putting together, yeah, this could be a whole nother X-Men title that he tackles. I love his writing, so if he's going to be tackling another main monthly series, yeah, I'll add that to my subscription service for sure. Awesome.
I knew you like that.
Yeah, that was a great one, bro. That was a great one. Let's see here. A couple honorable mentions for you guys real quick. A couple character posters wind up dropping for Black Widow. Still set to go ahead and drop July 9th over in theaters. I'm assuming they're still doing a Disney Plus premium access for this too. Are they indeed, Are they doing like this and theaters?
Yes, and I wish they would have just went ahead and let me pay for it in advance.
Yeah, nice. We got Florence Pugh here. We got David Harbour as the Red Guardian. He even referenced in a recent interview the idea of his was it the Winter Guard, Russians, Avengers, if you will. He mentioned a couple of their names, I believe, recently in a tweet. So I am kind of curious if the Winter Guard themselves might have a small cameo in Black Widow. I would love to see that. And then we even have Taskmaster here also, looking good.
They forgot to put Scarlett Johansson's name above Taskmaster.
is that who you think is in there?
I don't know, but it was throwing me off because I felt like they just photoshopped Rachel's face on Scarlett's costume.
Yeah, I think they probably did. It would not surprise me. Outside of that, what else did we get? We got a brand new Snake Eyes G.I. Joe trailer. Excuse me, not a trailer, which, mind you, the trailer is supposed to be dropping later on this evening. I think during the MTV Movie and TV Awards. I think it's scheduled for like 9 o'clock tonight, maybe Eastern time. So we are getting ourselves a Snake Eye trailer, but they did go ahead and at least release the Snake Eyes poster for us the other day, getting the opportunity to see some exclusive photos as well. I believe this is from Entertainment Weekly. I'm getting the opportunity to see a couple of heroes and villains here. This is, in fact, the Baroness. Over here, we got Scarlet, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, there were talks about giving Scarlet her own Amazon original series coming shortly. So I think they, hopefully with the success of Snake Eyes, that might actually happen. Get an opportunity to see
it up.
Yeah, I'm hoping they set it up for us here and there as well. So yeah, a couple of great photos here from Entertainment Weekly. It's looking great, honestly. I mean, cinematography, some of the great shot selections. I'm really eager to see what Henry Golding's going to do as Snake Eyes. So I'm hoping Hasbro knocks it out of the park, honestly. This is definitely a franchise I feel like is ready to go ahead and take that leap, especially after its other two movies that we wind up having years back, sort of thing. So a nice sort of rebooting, if you will, of that franchise. Are you guys excited for Snake Eyes and what could possibly come out of it?
This is their last opportunity with me with this franchise. I'm just gonna be totally honest. If they whiff on this, don't even come back to it. like
I don't know. For me,
give me a cartoon.
I mean, I'm always down for another G.I. Joe animated series.
I'll totally take one for sure.
But yeah, no, I think the costume designs look incredible. And then, yeah, like you were saying, the cinematography looks like it's going to be excellent. So I'm definitely excited. And for me, I've only seen one of the two live action G.I. Joe movies. I never saw the second one. And because I was like at that perfect age range when I saw the first one, I have very positive memories of it. I'm sure if I rewatched it, maybe not so much. But as of now, my memories of the G.I. Joe movie are still very positive. So I'm definitely looking forward to Snake Eyes.
Yeah, I think Marlon Wayans ruined that movie for me.
Marlon Wayans really ruined that movie for me, that first one. Yeah. I was so happy he wasn't in the second one.
Me too.
Then they brought The Rock in, and I was like, is this Fast and the Furious? What is going on here? He plays the same character in every movie.
I would basically. I would say, Stuart, if you are going to go ahead and dabble in G.I. Joe again, I wouldn't mind recommending the second one to you. Just go in there as just think of it as a popcorn flick, and I think it might hit you differently.
Retaliation was way better, especially like the first 5 minutes.
Isn't that like when they killed off all the main characters from the first movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Made it a totally different movie.
That's exactly
yeah. I just remember like that in the trailer and just being like, I just remember laughing at the trailer just because wow, they're not even hiding it. They want you to know that they do not care about the first movie at all. That's hilarious.
I mean, it helped make the movie a much better movie. So I thought enjoyable, at least to say the least. All right, guys. So that is in fact our honorable mentions today. So we will be getting into our main topics that I'm really eager to go ahead and tackle with you guys today. So are you guys ready, sir?
Always.
And gentlemen?
Let's kick it.
All right, let's do it. All right, guys. First topic we're going to go ahead and get into today comes to us from the lovely Kevin Smith himself. I've always been a big fan of Kevin Smith, especially some of his amazing work from Jay and Silent Bob to Clerks. What else? We got Mallrats. I mean, the list goes on, ladies and gentlemen. But it is fascinating to me that one of Kevin Smith's loves has always been He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And over the past couple of months, we've actually been highlighting some of the stuff that Kevin Smith has certainly talked about as he gets ready to go ahead and premiere his animated series for the upcoming Masters of the Universe Revelation. Now, while he certainly has talked about it over the past several months or so, we haven't really had an opportunity to actually get a look at what he was certainly working on. I think he might have teased some of the transformation theme for Prince Adam into He-Man as well, but we haven't had the opportunity to actually get a visual of what he's been working with until this week, ladies and gentlemen. Entertainment Weekly came out with an article and a ton of photos to finally give us our very first look at Masters of the Universe Revelation. And so we wanted to go ahead and highlight not only some of these photos, but also just the article in general from Entertainment Weekly to give you guys a sense of what you can certainly expect when it comes to this upcoming Masters of the Universe animated series. Now, again, I feel like there's a couple of projects that are currently going on right now when it comes to He-Man. We've got the He-Man movie, which 2 weeks ago we sadly did report that the main star, Noah Centineo, has in fact exited the movie. So who knows when we're going to get another live action film. There is also reports that there is another Masters of the Universe animated series that's going to be coming out, but for kids. And then we've got this Kevin Smith animated series as well. This time, I don't want to say necessarily for adults, but probably more along the lines of adults, but we'll also be continuing the adventures of the 1980s cartoon, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and dive into this. And I really would love to know your guys' thoughts. I'm not going to read all of it at first. We might read a couple of paragraphs or a couple of comments, and then I'll jump to you guys for your thoughts on things. So this, again, comes to us from Entertainment Weekly. And all these articles that we talk about, guys, are in fact on our Facebook page. So if you want to keep up with all the news, definitely go ahead and follow us over on our Facebook page. But this is from Entertainment Weekly. Masters of the Universe Revelation unleashes the power. With the first look at Kevin Smith's series, the animated sequel will be split into 2 parts, with part 1 premiering on Netflix July 23rd. So it's going to be here before we know it, guys, in like 2 months' time. But we get the opportunity to see some of the photos that they wind up having here. But the article says, by the power of Grayskull, He-Man is having a pop culture moment. After Netflix's She-Ra and the Princess of Power ending its 5-season run, Prince Adam and the World of Eternia are coming back full force to the limelight with the planned live-action movie, in addition to a CG animated Masters of the Universe show aimed for kids. But Masters of the Universe Revelation is a separate animated series from the mind of Kevin Smith and designed for fans of the 80s cartoon. It says, Entertainment Weekly's exclusive first look at Revelation brings back Prince Adam, now being voiced by, mind you, by Supergirl's Chris Wood, and the gang with new design by Powerhouse Animation that did Castlevania, and an updated story set directly after the events of the original piece of childhood entertainment. This is what they, I believe this is Kevin Smith. He says, everything I've worked on in like 27 years, this is easily in the top 5 of my favorite, most satisfying projects. He says, He says, when I die, they'll be like, he made Clerks, remember? Because that's the most memorable thing I think I've ever done. I think this has a running shot at being like, he made Clerks, and then that one cartoon that time. I'll leave it up to Kevin Smith, man. We got some great additional photos here. We'll highlight them as well for you guys, but split into 2 parts, with 5 episodes of part 1 premiering on Netflix this July 23rd. The show features an all-star cast that has been assembled. That includes Star Wars veteran Mark Hamill as Skeletor. You've got Game of Thrones Lena Headey as Evil Lynn, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Sarah Michelle Gellar as Tila, Clueless actor Alicia Silverstone as Queen Marlena, and iconic Batman voice actor Kevin Conroy as Merman, and the original voice of Skeletor, Alan Oppenheimer, now in the role of Mossman. So that's a pretty damn impressive voice casting role that we certainly have there, fellas. Just based off of what you're hearing right now, the idea of premiering July 23rd, broken down into 2 parts. 5 episodes for the first part, and this amazing sort of cast that we have here. How do you like the sound of this so far, guys?
It's perfect. The cast that they got for it, the art style that we're seeing from what it's going to be looking like, and then also finding out that this isn't like really a reboot. It's more of a sequel to the 80s series. I am really, really excited to see the direction they go in, especially getting to hear Mark Hamill voicing Skeletor, because I feel like that is the role that he is definitely like perfect for sure.
Yeah, I feel like his voice naturally probably just fits Skeletor perfectly. So I am really eager to see what he sounds like in here. I believe even further in the article, Kevin Smith mentions that that Mark Hamill was thinking about maybe exiting the idea of voice acting for a while, like just retiring from it. But I guess the opportunity to voice one of the most popular villains out there from the 80s as Skeletor will easily pull somebody back in, you know?
Yeah.
I definitely feel you. Definitely feel you on that. But the thing about it is the position that he needs to exit is Luke Skywalker. His voice, to me, he's known for being the Skywalker, right? But in my lifetime, I feel like personally, I adore him more as a voice actor than I do in that role of Luke Skywalker. So him voicing Skeletor is just right up the alley for me. Like, that's another iconic villain. You know, like Mark Hamill to me is the Joker. When I hear the Joker, I want to hear Mark Hamill. I don't care who plays him. You know what I'm saying? Just start doing some Japanese stuff. Let them mouth the words and let Mark Hamill talk it. just let him be the voice of whatever Joker y'all gonna do, live action or not. But the animation of this is beautiful. I wouldn't expect, to be honest with you, I wouldn't expect anything less when Kevin Smith is attached to something that he adores. When he's doing something that he adores, he puts his all into it. And he always puts together an amazing writing team. And I'm honestly looking forward to the episode to check out to see what Mark Bernardin wrote. Because
he wrote a couple stuff on this season.
Yeah,
Nice.
because they worked on a lot of this together, and because the stuff he just be throwing off the top of his head when he's rewriting stuff, bruh. I want to see what happens when he can sit down and actually write something out, because I loved his Castle Rock episodes.
Oh yeah, he was pretty amazing in Castle Rock. Yeah, I did love that. Did he do it for the first season or just the second or both?
I think it was just the first. I don't remember him talking about the second.
Because I love the first season. I really did. I haven't checked out the second one, but the first season was pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and speaking of writing in general, that actually kind of goes right back into our article here. It says, since this is a sequel series, the main mythos remains intact. Prince Adam, the son of the ruling family of the realm of Eternia, uses the Sword of Power to transform into the chiseled He-Man to defend his kingdom from threats, mostly from Skeletor. But now, what Kevin Smith says, the shackles are off to build a richer lore and explore different aspects to those beloved characters. He says, we get to see them engage, not just in clashing swords, but in far deeper conversations that we've never seen them before. It's not just simply like these two dudes have been trying to beat each other up for decades. We get to tell stories of abuse. We get to tell stories of isolation, grief. We use these characters as long as they've been around, and most people consider them toys or action figures to tell insanely human stories set in a very inhuman world. So yeah, it does say here that they've crafted what he refers to as a love letter for the fans who watched the original show as kids and are now adults. That doesn't mean Revelation is on the level of something like Amazon's blood splattering superhero Invincible, which Smith mentions and admires. But it does mean that the writer's room, consisting of, there you go, Mark Bernardin, Eric Carrasco, and others, he says, to get to raise the stakes in ways that you wouldn't normally do. Characters could die, not saying they will, but they certainly could. So I kind of dig this idea here that, it's not necessarily just going to be a kid show, that they are, in fact, going to be taking swings and adding stakes to this show to really put our heroes in danger, if you will. I love the tease of some people might die, some people may not die. You never know what you're going to get here. But especially when it comes to Kevin Smith, one of the things that I've always loved about Kevin Smith is his writing ability, is his dialogue that he has with his characters. If he can kind of take that same level of writing and put it here into Masters of the Universe for some of these characters, I'm really interested to see what kind of depth him and his writing team can certainly get into for some of these characters. So it doesn't seem like they're just taking it lightly. I love the comparison here to Invincible, but just the importance here of the idea of them raising stakes. But you're absolutely right here, Indy, in the sense that him and Mark Bernardo are probably really going to come out of the gate swinging with some really strong storylines for these characters.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? This like little bit of a step up from the 80s, still like being a sequel to the original, but like taking it in a much more mature direction, but without taking it too far into like, making it a gore fest or anything like that. It reminds me a lot with the Boom Studios Power Ranger comic books, because to me those were always like kind of even though they don't take place like after the series, it to me has always felt like a perfect like in between series for the comic books, and it takes the Rangers in like story situations that you never would have seen back in the 90s, but you could totally see existing back then. And that's what I feel like Kevin Smith is doing with this. He's taking stories, taking elements that we never did get to see in the 80s He-Man, but yet he's putting him in a more mature like sequel series that you could see have, existed back then, just not something they would have ever been allowed to show, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, dude, that He-Man is massively bigger than the one from the 80s.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he is. Yeah, he definitely is. Yes. Oh, go ahead. Stop. Sorry, Indy. Go ahead.
No, I'm totally with everything that Stuart just said. My thing is that as we know of right now, this is supposed to be a one-off thing. Like it's just something to build the hype back up because they got other He-Man properties that they want to use, sell a couple of toys. Because he even said he's got like the models back for the toys and stuff that are finna come out. But my goal for this, my hope for this is that it does so well that they have to offer them more.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
At least a run like what Voltron they got, because Voltron is something that didn't have to be on for forever. Got a couple of seasons, told his story, and then it was gone. I feel like this story that's going to be told is good enough to be continued. From what he's hinted, he wants to spill the beans on this show so bad. Every pod I listen to that man,
I'm sure he does
tell everything. But I really want to see able to continue. If the hype is up for it so much that Netflix looks at him like, oh, we have no choice, we have to give him another season. Like, yeah, I want to see, I want to see Kevin Smith and them win. You know what I'm saying? But then I kind of don't, because if that happens, I'm never going to get Clerks 3. So
I think Clerks 3 is coming no matter what. I definitely do think he'll eventually work on it, but I'm loving everything that I'm certainly seeing here. I'm like you though. I first off, I didn't necessarily know that this was going to be a one-off. I mean, I know the idea of them saying it was going to go ahead and break it down into 2 parts, but I was still kind of under the impression that maybe even after those 2 parts, we would probably get more seasons. I mean, look, if She-Ra can last for 5 seasons on Netflix, I definitely do think that this Kevin Smith animated series, I know they have another animated series certainly coming, but I could definitely see this one being rather successful. And if anything, this actually makes me want to go back and rewatch the entire series of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, just to go ahead and get caught up for wherever Kevin Smith's series winds up continuing from. And I believe they're on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. So I may have to go back and I believe it is on Hulu. So I might have to go back and check those out.
I don't know about rewatching the entire series, but I'm definitely
going to go back
and
I don't think there's that many episodes though.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, it's not. There was just He-Man. Honestly, that said, syndication always makes you feel like it was more episodes than what it really was.
I felt like that shit went on for like years. And it's only I'm like 50 episodes. What the hell? They just had this on repeat for years.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to have like the Stars subscription add-on to watch it, I think.
Oh, damn it.
Okay, it's hard to do. It's way easier to watch. It was just rebooted in like 2009 too, wasn't it? That they tried to redo it like on Cartoon Network.
So. Yeah,
that's way easier to watch than the 80s version. I tried that with Transformers too, and it didn't translate well at all.
I do remember going back and watching the first episode and thinking to myself, I watched this shit as a kid. Okay, I mean, I guess. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try and make another attempt at it.
To be fair, with some episodes of Transformers, there are some great episodes that still hold up to this day. And I will die with that statement because there are some incredible episodes back then.
I'm 110% with you on that, especially when they're getting into a storyline that they're actually telling. Yeah, especially when you do like the multiple episode storylines. But I'm telling you, watching that 80s Transformers is like watching Naruto. It's like a year of filler. And you're just sitting like, what is this? What does pizza have to do? Like, what is going on here? Like, this was entertaining. Nah, I just played with the toy. I realized I didn't watch as much Transformers as I thought I did. I just played with the toys a lot.
I get you. Yeah. But look, guys, we definitely want to know your thoughts. You finally get the opportunity to see your first look at Masters of the Universe Revelation, part 1, with 5 episodes dropping July 23rd on Netflix. We definitely want to know your thoughts in regards to this. Now that you hear some of what Kevin Smith's talking about in regards to the direction of the show, the stakes of the show, the incredible voice acting cast that they certainly have. What does that all certainly mean for you guys? Definitely go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. I'm so glad that we got these because I've been really eager to see what Kevin Smith was working on. I just remember a couple months back, if you guys recall this, there was a video of Kevin Smith. He was just doing a reaction video of him listening to the soundtrack for Masters of the Universe for the first time when Prince Adam transforms, and you just see the expressions on his face, and he's like almost tearing up, ready to cry. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I want to see what you're working on, man. And now we finally do. Because I'm assuming Homeboy goes from this to this, and I cannot wait to see what it definitely looks like. So thank you very much, Kevin Smith, for bringing this to life again.
There was,
I'll be totally honest with you. I'm sorry, Devil's Advocate. Everything makes that man cry.
I mean, yes, it does. It does. It does. I was just pointing out how emotional this man tends to be about his projects. But you're right. The idea that this is very much a passion project for Kevin Smith, and especially him working alongside somebody like Mark, I definitely do think they're going to put one of their best foot forwards. I mean, even he says that this is probably going to be one of the things he's remembered for most outside of Clerks, which is crazy to even think about.
I love his excitement for this for sure.
Yeah, his excitement level is always off the charts.
I don't care as long as you do Mallrats 2 and Clerks 3. I'm happy. That's all I need.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, definitely let us know your thoughts in the live chat and comment section box below. And with that, guys, we will go ahead and move on to our next topic today as we transition over to a Rian Johnson film. Guys, listen, a couple of weeks ago here again on A+ Hero Report, we did go ahead and report that Netflix wind up dropping over $400 million to Rian Johnson and his production company in order to go ahead and buy the rights for Knives Out 2 and 3, both sequels for Rian Johnson. So that was the first big move that Netflix certainly did and really put eyes back on this upcoming Rian Johnson's sequel. Well, this past week, guys, we had an explosion of casting announcements for people that were certainly going to be in this upcoming film, and it blows me away, to certainly say the least. Let's go ahead and at least highlight the first person that was actually announced this week, and then we'll go ahead and add on to that casting. So first up, guys, the first person that we had in regards to being announced to be in this upcoming film. I think we already know that Daniel Craig's going to be attached to this film, but we now have good old Dave Bautista has in fact joined Daniel Craig in Rian Johnson's sequel for Netflix. It says exclusive in the first big casting to Rian Johnson's upcoming sequel to Knives Out. Sources tell Deadline that Dave Bautista is set to join Daniel Craig in the next installment. With Netflix recently landed the rights to the monumental deal. Netflix first reported in March that Netflix was closing the deal north of $400 million for the next 2 installments. Johnson is back to writing and directing the picture and will produce with his partners Ram Bergman and yada yada yada. Netflix had no comment. Plot details are unknown at this time, other than Craig returning to solve another mystery revolving around a large cast of suspects. It is unknown who Bautista will play in this picture. Production is starting to set this summer over in Greece. Wow, very nice in regards to that. So Dave Bautista continuing to make a name for himself, especially after his run on Guardians of the Galaxy. He still has at least one more Guardians film to certainly do. And on top of that, he's going to be in the upcoming Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is set to go ahead and release here, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken, or this upcoming Friday on Netflix. So Dave Bautista is making the rounds in Hollywood, attaching himself to some really big films these days. So his stock easily continues to rise. But Indy, this isn't the only casting that we had this week at all. On top of that, we also had Edward Norton was in fact cast in here, aka the Incredible Hulk, if you guys recall. So Edward Norton's in here. We actually have singer, now turned actress, in Janelle Monáe, who's going to be in here as well. So Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Dave Bautista, and then we just recently, as of yesterday or 2 days ago, wind up hearing the news that Catherine Hahn, who played Agatha over in WandaVision, is going to be in this as well. And listen, we know when it comes to WandaVision, it was Agatha all along. Do you think it's going to be Catherine Hahn all along when we get into this Knives Out sequel, guys? What do you guys think?
It's gotta be someone who
it's gotta be Dave Bautista,
like a hero.
No,
yeah, exactly. Dave Bautista too, but
let it be Janelle. They had me at Janelle Monáe, and to me that would be the best way to surprise us, is to have her, you know what I'm saying, be the one who did it. I want to see that role from her. She's played in some very prominent stuff. Like, she's made a niche for herself in being an actress, and I would like to see that element, you know what I'm saying, that other element out, you know, for that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just one big live action Among Us.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I'm excited. If it is, I'm cool with whoever it certainly is. I mean, just based off of what Rian Johnson gave us in the first one, his ability to be able to tell us the truth about what actually happened, but still put us on a great roller coaster ride of still trying to figure out who done it. I thought that was such a brilliant and smart way to go ahead and handle that one. I really want to see how he tackles this one. But so far, when you ask me about casting, I think he's managed to grab people, especially like Dave Bautista, Catherine Hahn, and Janelle, who were just kind of, some of them making a resurgence, or at least finally getting the recognition of how good they are at what they do, or the idea of them getting better and putting them into the spotlight. Dave has been a wanted star in Hollywood right now. Catherine Hahn just upped her stakes in Hollywood with WandaVision, and Janelle Monáe definitely coming into her own as an actress. I mean, it's pretty impressive, just the cast alone that Rian Johnson's been able to put together, you know?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, with Dave Bautista especially, because I feel like he's such a great, he's one of those few wrestling actors that actually deserve the fame that they get from their skills as an actor. So he's like, because yeah, he's been just an incredible actor in everything he's in, but it feels like a lot of times so many movies just really want him to play Drax again, because that was like kind of the movie that made him just like a really big star. But it's when you look at him in like movies like Blade Runner and even in 007 for that small amount of time, it really shows he has a lot of range. So I'm really hoping that, between this and then the Zack Snyder movie, Army of the Dead, I'm hoping that like between the two of these movies that we really get to see him show off the fact that he has that range and he really gets to show off his acting talents.
And I think he's doing a service to himself in regards to not staying stagnant and just doing the same character over and over again. I mean, working with somebody like a James Gunn obviously is going to be great for your acting career, but then going over to amazing other talent, like working with a Zack Snyder, who's got his own flair and style, going over to somebody like Rian Johnson, who has his own flair and style, and just learning from all these different directors and stuff, and them really knowing how to kind of tackle him as an actor, and really putting him into great positions to succeed. I think it's gone a really long way for his career. There are times when he gives these interviews that I think that he's become kind of cocky headed all of a sudden, or really arrogant, because he thinks he's like this. I feel like he feels like he's this top tier talent, if you will. But there's nothing wrong with having confidence in yourself and knowing that there's more that you can certainly offer. But it is pretty funny when it comes to Dave Bautista, some of the things that he certainly says in his interviews. But I love the idea that he's switching it up for himself and putting himself into different positions to really, like you said, Stuart, to certainly show his range. But what else are you thinking over there, Indy?
I mean, I totally get you on that. He does sometimes act a little bit of prima donna-ish, but he is a former world champion, multiple time world champion, member of Evolution. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
He's done some big things, and to me has shown more range than other people that came from the background that he came from to do this, because I do feel like I've seen more range from him than I have from a Dwayne Johnson and other, wrestling stars that have went into acting to do what they do. Definitely than the whole is the names that we know. So it's pretty interesting to me in seeing as how he comes and how he's really choosy over the roles that he takes. Mm-hmm. Because he even the report came out that he even turned down a role in the Fast and the Furious, which is money, cash a check. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's your money, take it, have a cameo, here's $1 million. You know what I'm saying? To do it, to try to push forth in getting the lead role in the Gears of War movie, which is something that we've been clamoring for as a video game fan for forever, because that world, a story told in that world with the technology we have now,
a lot of potential for sure. Yeah.
I didn't know that was something that was in the works. Oh my gosh, that gets me excited.
He has been petitioning for being Marcus Phoenix, which he is the perfect as far as looks, attitude, voice. Yeah, he is the perfect Marcus Phoenix for the Gears of War universe. Like, he was made for that role. And I understand how he feels, especially with stepping out of the Drax role. He'll be 55 by the time. I believe he'll be 55 by the time the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie come out. You know what I'm saying? And it's perfect for him to step away from that and move into other stuff, which is crazy to me that he wants to go from Guardians of the Galaxy to being Marcus Phoenix. Like, it's not just going to be as physical. but maybe he just wants to get away from the body paint and just, all right, because he run around in armor all day.
Yeah, because he mentions that he mentions how just excruciating the getting into that damn makeup for Drax certainly was on set. So yeah, I mean, if that spend like hours of your day, that would probably drive me crazy too. But I mean, just seeing him in the trailer for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead running across the tabletops, just shooting zombies and stuff. I mean, that definitely feels like Marcus to me from Gears of War. Like, he just fit perfectly in that role. But I think for me, what really fascinates me is not only just the names and the cast that they wind up having. But in the first Knives Out, Rian Johnson, I thought, did a really great job of giving everybody sort of their own individual sort of personalities, right? I am kind of curious to see what kind of characters all these characters are going to play, like a Dave Bautista, like a Catherine Hahn, like with Edward Norton. Like, is he going to be like Edward Norton's going to be this rich, stuck-up guy who, you know what I mean? I am kind of curious to see what type of characters we're going to get out of this cast.
Well, if they want to make it believable, Edward Norton is going to have to be the one who dies, and he's the one whose mystery they're solving, because let's face it, If any one of the actors that have been named is the kind of that the other actors turn against, it'd be Edward Norton.
It'd be Edward Norton. I thought you were gonna say because his career is dead, so they have to go ahead.
Wait, maybe that
solve
too.
it.
Nah, just because like I obviously have no judgment of my own because I don't know the guy at all. For all I know, he could be a cool person. But yeah, all I hear is just like from so many different people is like how much of a pain he is to work with.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I mean,
so it'd be funny if they like kind of played along with that joke in the movie and had him be the one that got killed off and have him play like an over exaggerated version of himself, kind of like what he did in Birdman.
oh yeah, that he was pretty good in Birdman. Also, I did enjoy him in there. So far, guys, we've got an amazing cast that's being built up. I'm pretty sure maybe this week or the next couple of weeks we'll probably continue to get more casting announcements, as they did say that filming was set to go ahead and begin this summer over in Greece. But I'm excited if Rian Johnson can capture that magic that he did in the first one and give it to us for the sequel, then I'm certainly there. But for me, it's really great to see a lot of these actors and actresses getting the opportunity to be in a film like this, where I'm definitely going to just check out and see what type of range they certainly have in here for sure. So I'm really excited for all these actors to get this role. All right, guys. Any last words in regards to before we move on?
No, Batista bomb.
Yes.
I feel like I need to see a Batista bomb in this movie.
And Knives Out, I was actually going to say Army of the Dead. I could totally see that happening, but that would be pretty funny if it's in Knives Out also.
Yeah. Ryan will find a way to fit it into the film.
Yeah, come on, Ryan, do us justice, man. All right, guys. But listen, we want to know your thoughts at the end of the day. You hear all these casting announcements: Dave Bautista, Catherine Hahn, Janelle Monáe, Edward Norton joining Knives Out 2. Are you excited for the cast that Rian Johnson has put together? And are you excited for the sequel? Go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to a next topic that I think will bring back maybe a little nostalgia for all of us that might have grown up in the 90s as kids. Back in the day, it's actually funny because yesterday I sat my girlfriend down and we watched a little bit of old school Nickelodeon. Not everybody back in the day had cable. Not everybody had Nickelodeon and got the opportunity to watch fantastic shows like Guts and Double Dare and all those great shows, or even Legends of the Hidden Temple, which was honestly one of my favorites. Well, if you happen to miss it years ago as a kid, guess what, guys? You're going to get your opportunity to catch it again, because we're going to be having ourselves a Legends of the Hidden Temple reboot certainly coming our way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This comes to us from deadline.com, letting us know that Legends of the Hidden Temple reboot lands at the CW of all places, guys, at the CW. So it says the CW is hunting for Legends of the Hidden Temple after ordering a reboot of the classic Nickelodeon adventure format. This comes after the series was previously set to be rebooted by the short-lived short-form service in Quibi. The reboot will be produced by Stone & Company, which produced the original series that ran on Nickelodeon for 3 seasons between 1993 and 95. The adult version will preserve many of the original show, including Olmec, the giant talking Mayan head, the moat crossings, the steps of knowledge, and the temple run, as well as the team names such as Purple Parrots, Blue Barracudas, Orange Iguanas, Red Jaguars, Silver Snakes, and the Green Monkeys. However, this version will be taken out of the studio and scaled up with tougher challenges and bigger prizes as the contestants find their way through the jungle, it says. The creator team is in fact coming back. The order came as CW is ramping up its original non-scripted program with the likes of adaptations of British formats, Would I Lie to You and Killer Camp. So they do say we've always been incredibly interested in the alternative space, but we do sense that there's more opportunity. We've been aggressively looking in the marketplace. So we're getting ourselves an adult version, guys, of Legends of the Hidden Temple, as it in fact does come back with bigger stakes and bigger challenges. And you know what, guys? Like I said, yesterday I introduced my girlfriend to Legends of the Hidden Temple for the very first time. We had a pretty good time actually watching an episode. So the fact that this is coming back, this was one of my favorite shows, certainly growing up as a kid. I always loved that idea of, kids being able to challenge one another, not just physically, but also mentally, right? Really having you think about this type of stuff. It's programming like that for kids that I honestly do miss these days. But I always thought Legends of the Hidden Temple was something, pretty special back in its day. Never a truly easy show. I never felt that their temple run was even easy. Like, I don't even recall a lot of people winning this show. To be honest with you, the competition was pretty stiff as well. So I love the sound of this. I think this is a show that I do not mind seeing rebooted, especially if it's going to be an adult version. I am kind of curious. I mean, even though it says it's going to keep some of the same concepts and ideas, I am interested to see what the new challenges definitely are. And if I could just rep for my team real quick, the Silver Monkeys, always was a big fan of the Silver Monkeys, always rooted for them each and every week. But let me pass this to you guys. I don't know if you guys had the same enjoyment out of Legends of the Hidden Temple. I don't know if you guys even watched the show as kids, but what are your thoughts in regards to this? Let me go ahead and throw this over to you first, Stuart, if you had the opportunity to check it out.
Yeah, I never watched that much of Legends of the Hidden Temple. I think it might have been a little bit before my time, and but I know that my brother was a real big fan of it. And already, I can tell you from this article alone, what really excites me about this reboot is that it completely throws away the rumors about the reboot that were out before, which was, I'm not even kidding, there were rumors that this reboot was going to be a scripted television series, and it was not even going to be a game show anymore. It was just going to be a straight up
oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, it was weird. It was going to be like a fantasy show or an adventure like Indiana Jones type show, but with like the same name and with the same mythology, but they were getting rid of the game show aspect. And I thought, that's dumb. Why not just make it a completely separate show then, if that's the case? So hearing that it is actually a game show and it's coming to the CW, I think it's a cool opportunity to give like people like me who have never seen the original show a chance to definitely check it out and see what it's like, but like on a more extreme level. What I'm also kind of excited about, or what I'm kind of curious about, is with it being on the CW, and with a lot of actors that we usually see on the CW being very athletic themselves, what do you think the chances are that we might be getting to see some like CW alumni, like whether it be from the Arrowverse or like other CW shows, like competing against each other?
Hey, I would love that idea. If we get like a celebrity edition, maybe just one episode out of the year, I would take something like that. Because when the show, at least back in the day, started, all these teams, there was two people per team, a guy and a girl, or sometimes I think it was probably two guys. I don't think it really mattered, but you had two teams and you had all these teams. So I think you'll probably already start off with like probably almost 20 competitors, I think, or something like that. And then you slowly dwindle everybody down to just one team making it at the very end. So I would love to see that. What about you, Indy? Would you love to see like the celebrities from CW get a chance to run this course?
Similar to me tuning into American Ninja Warrior for the first time ever to watch Stephen Amell run it. Yes, I would definitely love to see that. I will watch White Canary do anything. That's why I'm subscribed to her TikTok. I'm looking forward to this so much that I've already signed myself and my brother-in-law, he doesn't know this, up as contenders because they're looking for contestants.
Really? They are?
Yeah,
wow.
they're looking for contestants that could be available during, I think, the month of August. It's August, September, and I think you have to be available for the whole month and be able to be in the I think it's the LA area or whatever. So I signed us up. He doesn't know. Well, he probably knows now because he does watch this. That's how serious I am about Legends of the Hidden Temple, that I am willing to go and put my body on the line to put A+ opinions on the map and to probably be eliminated after the first round because I am way out of shape.
I was about to say, you guys better start your training regimen, man.
But I was always a fan of this show, and until you just told me it was going to take place in the jungle, I was like, man, it's going to be on the set. I always thought this was easy. I could do this with my eyes closed. and now you're telling me where it's gonna be at. I'm having second thoughts on what I just did. Because I talked major crap in the bio thing about how easy this was gonna be. And if they select me, I could see them just put me through the most horrible thing ever because of all the crap I was talking.
That's funny, dude. You thought the obstacle courses were gonna be the same? Was just gonna be the same things?
I thought it was gonna be the same thing, just crawling up the little holes, pushing the little ball. I'm like, man, this is cakewalk. I mean, I'm an adult. I watch kids struggle with it. This is gonna be easy. And then I start listening to you read the description on where the show is going, and I'm like, yeah, I made a mistake.
They're gonna have me climbing trees and shit. No, it's so funny because even watching it yesterday, I was talking shit about these kids. Like, come on, where's your athleticism, kids? Like, what's going on here? Like, these are the easiest fucking challenges in the world. I was still talking shit in my 30s, but I, even back then as a kid, I was like, I could do that. Yeah, it did look like the easiest thing in the world, but I'm assuming they're going to be up in the stakes for sure. So we'll see, Indy. I mean, you may not be the only one. Now that I know that they're looking for contestants, I may just sign me and my girlfriend up. Who certainly knows? We'll see what happens.
Here goes. I'm calling you out, Jason David Frank. I know you're filming Legend of the White Dragon right now, but you and your daughter can't beat me and my brother-in-law on Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Damn.
Ooh, do you have a shots fired? What team you want to represent? I'm taking the Silver Monkeys already. Silver Monkeys.
Come on, man. Blue Barracudas all
Blue
day.
Barracudas
all day.
I love it. Yeah, are they in the Legends of the Hidden Temple Hall of Fame? If there was one, they probably would be in there.
Yeah, definitely, man. They always won. It's all about the Blue Barracudas, man.
Yeah, they always won. Literally, the guy that we were watching the episode yesterday, and we couldn't find just an episode on YouTube. The only thing I could find is somebody's reaction videos to full episodes. And so the one that we watched yesterday, homeboy was rocking his Blue Barracuda shirt, and he was rooting for them all episode long. They won too. They made it to the temple, but they didn't win the temple, but they at least made it to the end. But I just thought it was hilarious though, man. It was so great to go back and watch it. If you haven't watched it, Stuart, I would recommend checking it out, man.
I'm actually curious if it's on Paramount Plus, so I'll check that out later.
I don't know.
No, go ahead, Stuart. You and the significant other sign up.
God, no! I didn't know I didn't know they were signing up, so I may have to check that out now.
Well, I'll send you the link. Go ahead and do it. A whole just a whole episode of A+ opinions.
I love it. Well, guys, listen, we want to know your thoughts. Were you big fans of Legends of the Hidden Temple, or is that a time period that certainly passed you by? Even if you haven't watched the show and you certainly hear this about the idea of a reboot, what's your levels of excitement to see the CW actually have a challenge show, non-scripted, on their channel? I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes, and I'm hoping, Stuart, that you're right, man, that we wind up having a celebrity episode, because I do think that would be fantastic to see some of these guys run the course. But Indy, we're gonna have to start our training regimen, man. Let's start making sure we're stretching and breathing correctly, okay?
As I'm stuffing my face with a cupcake.
First place, coming in first place. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move over to our next topic for the day. Now that we have that one out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump into some DC talk for you guys as we move on to our next topic, getting into the DCEU. Margot Robbie has been a very big advocate when it comes to the DCEU, really pushing Harley Quinn to get more screen time when it comes to her films. We've seen her do some stellar work already as Harley Quinn in the previous Suicide Squad movie, Birds of Prey, and she is in fact returning for the Suicide Squad sequel that's set to go ahead and drop this summer from James Gunn. But while Margot Robbie certainly is pushing Warner Brothers to certainly go ahead and include a lot of Harley Quinn's favorite friends, one that she certainly continues to push for is in fact Poison Ivy. And while we certainly don't know the direction in which the DCEU is certainly going to go anytime soon, could there be a chance that Poison Ivy herself makes a debut here in the DCEU? So this article, guys, actually comes to us from Den of Geek, who had the opportunity to sit down with Margot Robbie, and she says she wants Poison Ivy to join Harley Quinn in the DCEU. The article says, some things go together: peanut butter and jelly, song and dance, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. That last classic combo has been long established in the DC Comics canon. While casual fans may think of Harley Quinn and Joker as the ultimate duo, any dedicated consumer of pop culture knows that Harley's true love is actually Pamela Isley, aka Poison Ivy. The two have often been an item, either platonic, romantic, or something in between in the comic book universe, but have also seen some seriously romantic storytelling in HBO Max's Harley Quinn's animated TV show. It does say here, it says, one of Harley-centric story in which the Green Goddess has been noticeably absent in Quinn's orbit is the DCEU. As we inch closer to the release of the Suicide Squad, the third feature film in which Margot Robbie has played Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy's absence continues. As part of our Suicide Squad cover story for our latest Den of Geek magazine, we had a chance to ask Robbie about when we might see Harley's BFF or true love make an appearance in this corner of the DCEU. And this is what she says. She says, "Trust me, I chew their ear off about it all the time," says Margot Robbie, when asked if there has been any discussion of bringing Poison Ivy to the DCEU. They must be sick of hearing it, but I'm like, Poison Ivy, come on, let's do it. I'm very keen to see the Harley and Poison Ivy relationship on screen. It'd be so fun. So I'll keep pestering them. Don't worry. It did say here that Robbie had discussed wanting to see Harley and Poison Ivy's relationship come to the DCEU when she spoke with Pride Source, saying, if you read the comics, you know that Poison Ivy and Harley have an intimate relationship. In some comics, they convey it as a friendship. In others, you can see that they're actually sexually involved as a couple. I would love to have Poison Ivy thrown into the universe because Harley and Poison Ivy relationship is one of my favorite aspects of the comic. So I'm looking to explore that on screen. So while we certainly don't have any plans right now for a Poison Ivy to certainly be in the DCEU, if there is a champion for that to ever happen, give it up to Margot Robbie for continuing to push this after all the years. And that's one of the things that I love about Margot Robbie is that she knows exactly what the hell she's talking about. I love the fact that she is very keyed into what's going on in the comic books with Harley Quinn. She's genuinely a Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy fan, which I love. It seems to showcase itself anytime she's in an interview. And I swear that Margot Robbie just embodies Harley Quinn perfectly. If there is anybody that I think is just perfect casting when it comes to the DCEU, for me, it's definitely Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And so while I'm not expecting Poison Ivy to pop up in a Batman movie at any particular point in time, at this point, I don't even think I need her to pop up in a Batman film. At this point, if anything, I would expect maybe Poison Ivy to come into maybe a third Suicide Squad movie, maybe a Birds of Prey sequel if we get one. I mean, I've kind of lost a track of how many Harley Quinn movies and spin-offs we were supposed to get in the past, whether or not they actually hold true to some of those still today. Who knows if Harley Quinn will get her own movie again. So I'm kind of hoping that this certainly happens, maybe with Flashpoint coming up, rebooting things a little bit more. Maybe we'll get that opportunity to kind of see Poison Ivy finally thrust into this particular position. But I love everything that that Margot Robbie is certainly saying here. The fact alone that she's been an advocate for this, I think, should give fans hope, because I think if anybody in the DCEU, or I should say executives, are going to listen to, is probably going to be Margot Robbie, because I do think she has the pulse, not only on these characters, but some of the fans as well in regards to what they want to see. And, with her breaking up with the Joker in Birds of Prey, who knows? Maybe this is a perfect opportunity for Poison Ivy to certainly come into her life. So I do think this is going to happen. Not sure when, but if anybody is going to make it happen, it's definitely going to be Margot Robbie. And that's one of the reasons why I continue to love her, because she is such an advocate for the DCEU and for this to happen. But let me throw this over to you here, Indy. I know you were a big fan of the animated series from Harley Quinn. What have you thought about their relationship in the series, and what do you think about the idea of Margot Robbie, being one of those voices for WB to continue to try and push them to make this happen?
Their relationship in the series is the driving force of that series. Them coming to grips, that is them wanting to be together by the end of the second season. When that comes to grips, in the comics, It's amazing. That relationship in general is really, really, really dope. And the way Harley Quinn's meteoric rise to the top is she to me rivals Batman popularity. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to two characters coming out of that universe, you know what I'm saying? Because Margot Robbie and, well, let me say Harley Quinn on one side is, to me, if you're on the outside looking in, you're not really a fan. She seems to be as popular as Joker and Batman, if not more popular. So why wouldn't you take this relationship that is loved and endeared by everybody who reads and watches it and put that on the screen? Her powers are proven that they can be done, and not even at a high budget from Swamp Thing.
Oh, good point.
If you throw a little bit more money in there, you know what I'm saying, you can have her do a little bit more, because she does stuff at times, you know what I'm saying, on a bigger scale than he would himself. So I'm interested in what's the reason they haven't added her into the mix, especially since it seemed like they separated the whole her being in the universe with Batman, and like she seems like she exists in her own little bubble. Run with that. Let the Suicide Squad 3 be a prison, her trying to break Poison Ivy out of prison, or you know what I'm saying, something. It could be something where we just dropped into a world and their relationship is already established, and then they could tell us through flashbacks like they've been doing on, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. But I think that it's a chance for them to make a lot of money if they make that move. Maybe they're not ready, or maybe they don't have the perfect person that they feel that can actually take upon that role, because Poison Ivy is a hard role to play. You can't just throw anybody in there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I wonder if anything, I wonder who they would probably have in mind, or if you guys have any suggestions for casting for a Poison Ivy. But I feel like right now, when it comes to Warner Brothers, they've just been so all over the place in regards to trying to get their feet under them and figuring out what they want for their future, and what they want their cinematic universe to be, that I don't even know if they've even thought about how do we fit somebody like a Poison Ivy in there. But I feel like maybe now, as they're kind of giving us a slate, giving us things to kind of look forward to, maybe they do have a bigger plan in mind. But even that, with some of the announcements that we've gotten, we've yet to hear anything Poison Ivy related or even Harley Quinn related outside of the Suicide Squad. So I don't know what's keeping them from pulling the trigger. I got to assume that they do see the success of the Harley Quinn animated series. So I agree with you though, Indy, in the sense that there's money to be made here, especially between this couple and this duo, and whether or not they pull a trigger, we'll definitely have to see. What about you, Stuart? You hear this, Margot Robbie being a big advocate for the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy relationship on big screen. Do you think it's going to happen? And what do you think about her speaking out about it?
I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. I feel like right now, I really don't know what DC's like big overall plan is. It kind of still feels like they're still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to find their footing, but I do think that if it ever does eventually happen, that I think it's really cool that Margot Robbie is the one who's really pushing for it, for us to finally get like not only Ivy on the big screen once again, but also finally get to see like a live action Harley Quinn and Ivy together, because that's something that we still to this day haven't seen, despite it being a very popular thing in the comic books ever since like Harley Quinn's debut. So you know, I do think it'll happen eventually. I just don't know when. And I really hope that when it does happen, it's going to be, it won't be too late. Like, I hope that Margot Robbie is still working with Warner Brothers by the time we finally get to see them together on the big screen. But yeah, I think going back to what Indy was saying when it came to the special effects, he brought up Swamp Thing, showing that it wouldn't be too hard to do because they could do it in the TV budget. My thought is, freaking Sky High showed that they could do her special effects easily, and I gotta imagine that movie probably had an even smaller budget than Swamp Thing. So yeah, I hope Warner Brothers isn't trying to use special effects budgets as like an excuse, because I feel like even I could probably pull off some decent special effects when it comes to like having fake vines and everything flying around. Because I feel like that isn't too hard. Maybe I'm wrong, but Yeah, so I think special effects wise, it would be easy. And then I think like in terms of finding an actress that could play Ivy, like this may sound like a bad thing, but I swear I don't mean this as an insult at all. Ivy, I don't imagine is that hard of a role to play. So I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to find any kind of talented actress that can take up the role. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it would be more difficult than I'm imagining. But right now, as I'm thinking of Ivy's personality, I feel like it's not that hard to pull off. And I don't mean to say that she's a boring character or anything like that. I just mean like it's just kind of basic enough. Like I feel like what makes her great is the way that Ivy plays off of other people around her.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you got an actress that can do that, I feel like pulling off or finding an actress to play her shouldn't be too hard.
And nah, I totally get that. The thing with Ivy and Harley is Ivy is never really herself until she's around Harley. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing, because Ivy has all this trauma and everything that she went through that she always hides. And just, you know what I'm saying, it has the bravado out in front. She never breaks down as a character until like that relationship with Harley starts. And that's when you start to see the real Ivy come out. So and somebody who could tap into that, when you went to the Sky High thing, I thought you fan cast Ivy and I was gonna run with you 110%, but you didn't do it.
Honestly, like, I could see Caitlin Snow pulling it off, so why not?
Yeah, I thought you were getting ready to fan cast, and I was like her or one of the Emmas, either, you know what I'm saying, either Emma Watson or Emma Stone.
Yeah, I was thinking Emma Stone.
Like, yeah, just go for it. But whoever's going to play the role has to be somebody that can play opposite that Harley and really do it, because that kinship that's there, you know what I'm saying, that magic is what's going to make it work. If that's not there, it's not going to work at all, because it's easy to do it in animation. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to do it in the comics, but to have that chemistry come off, you know what I'm saying, on the big screen is something totally different.
I am curious if Margot Robbie has somebody in mind already that she would like to play the role. If anything, like you said, the chemistry is going to be key, right? So whoever they're going to bring in, they're definitely going to need a bunch of like screen tests to kind of see how they balance with somebody like a Margot Robbie and her Harley Quinn. So I do think it's going to happen. I'm with you, though, Indy. Stuart, I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. It could certainly still be a long ways away. But I do think that they eventually will give in to Margot Robbie and do what she asks. I mean, you know, regardless of how you guys might have felt about the first Suicide Squad or maybe even Birds of Prey, I think one of the things that a lot of people just can't deny is the fact that Margot Robbie is a great Harley Quinn. I mean, her and Kaylee Kuko, who does the voice of and Harley in the animated series, have done a remarkable job just representing that character. So we'll see if Margot Robbie gets her way. Listen to her, WB. She knows what she's talking about. She'll bring you guys a ton of money. So we'll definitely see. Any last words in regards to that article, guys?
No, 9 out of 10, Margot Robbie already has somebody casted that she wants to be in the role, and it's probably just somebody she wants to kiss.
I mean, hey, you never know, man.
It's gonna be somebody random like a Lindsay Lohan or something. We're like, what the hell? Like, oh, we want to make out with Lindsay Lohan. It's gonna be something like that.
Please no Lindsay Lohan. Anyway, all right, guys, listen, we want to know your thoughts. Margot Robbie pushing WB executives to go ahead and have Poison Ivy in their films. Is that a relationship you would love to see on the big screen? Do you think it's going to happen? When do you think it's going to happen? Go ahead and let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And with that, we're going to go ahead and go ahead. Somebody say something.
I was just going to say, it's really funny though, because what Indy brought up about Margot Robbie casting someone just so she has an excuse to kiss them. That's the joke I've always made. Have you guys ever seen the movie Don John?
Yeah,
heard of it.
It was a really bad movie, but when I realized it was written, directed, and produced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and his character plays the guy that hooks up with Scarlett Johansson, I'm just kind of like, you wrote this entire movie so you can get with Scarlett Johansson. Just admit it.
He probably already had her in mind.
That was a really bad movie that I watched for a letdown in one scene.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, guys. Well, yeah, let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. But from DC to Marvel, we will go ahead and continue along with this with our topics for you guys. We've got two more to go ahead and talk about. Next one up, though, will in fact be in regards to Marvel and their Disney Plus series. This year alone is going to be stacked with series for us. I mean, we also have Loki that's coming this June. We've got the What If series that's coming. I believe Hawkeye is still set to go ahead and drop this fall sometime. I'm also hearing that Miss Marvel might actually make its way towards the end of this season, maybe late 2021. So Marvel is pushing forward and at full steam ahead when it comes to their Disney Plus series. And there's definitely no slowing down. A couple of weeks ago, we even highlighted here on this show some of the casting announcements that one of the upcoming series in Secret Invasion has certainly already done some casting as to who they certainly would love to have on the show. Well, now not only has casting been announced, but this week, guys, we finally got our directors announced as well. So now that Secret Invasion is certainly coming together, we have the writers in place, but now we have the directors. So this comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Secret Invasion's Marvel's next series finds its directors. This is an exclusive report. It says the secret is out. Thomas Bezucha, who helmed last year's crime thriller Let Him Go, and Ali Salim, who worked on Hulu's 9/11 drama The Looming Tower, have been tapped to direct Marvel Studios' latest series, Secret Invasion. The show has been casting up in recent weeks with Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke, and Kingsley Ben-Adir joining Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn on the call sheet. The latter two are reprising their respective Marvel movie roles of sneaky tough guy Nick Fury and Talos, a shape-shifting alien from a species named the Skrulls. It says plot details for the show are being kept secret in the mighty Marvel manner, but in the comics, Secret Invasion revealed that that Skrulls had infiltrated human society, and that some of Earth's superheroes had been replaced by Skrulls years earlier. Kyle Bradstreet, known for Mr. Robot, is writing and executive producing the series. It says the series is expected to shoot in Europe later this year. It is unclear what the breakdown of the episodes will be, but could be 3-3 or 4-2 according to some sources. So in regards to these directors, though, Let Him Go is described as a neo-western starring Kevin Costner and Diane Lane as grieving grandparents who set out to find their only grandson from a bunch of no good in-laws. Basucha both wrote the script and directed, with the movie generating strong reviews. So it definitely seems as though we've got some pretty good directors on hand. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you guys have had the opportunity to check out any of their particular films, but for me alone, even though I'm not familiar with these directors, I probably sometime this week will go back and at least check out two of these films, the Let Him Go and the Looming Tower. I'll probably go and see if I go ahead and find those and check them out for myself. But I'm just honestly, one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight this is because I'm just glad to see that this series is starting to make tons of more movement in here. We're definitely going to get a lot more reveals, I'm certainly sure. But now that we're seeing the cast, the writer, the director in place, this series seems like it's certainly ready to go and almost ready to go ahead and be in front of the camera. So if later this year is when they have in mind for filming this, I had no idea sort of the timetable in which this series was certainly going to be set, but it feels like at least it would not surprise me if this was, in fact, maybe one of the next Marvel series to certainly go into production. So it feels like this series is a lot closer to us and right around the corner than even I certainly expected. So I'm excited to certainly kind of get this news. But let me go ahead and pass this over to you, Stuart. You hear this: Secret Invasion has found its directors. Not sure if you're familiar with their work. If you are, let us know. If not, what does this news certainly mean to you, sir?
Unfortunately, I am not familiar with either of their works. I just looked them both up on IMDb. The only one I'm kind of familiar with is the writer, because even though I've never seen the show, I've been hearing that the show Mr. Robot is absolutely amazing. They definitely got some talent. Definitely got some talent in the writing department. But for the directors, though, I'm also looking at their IMDb, and their films that they have worked on are very critically acclaimed. So I'll definitely have to, like you were saying, I'll definitely have to check them out myself and see. But yeah, I think again, just because I feel like Marvel has yet to let us down when it comes to just finding out which directors are right for which exact roles. So I feel like if Marvel picked these guys for Secret Invasion, there's definitely got to be a calculated, really smart reason behind it. And I think like also when it comes to Secret Invasion, something that kind of you brought up in the article that also kind of like popped in my head is the idea that I'd say like we're probably safe for the next couple of shows, like so for Hawkeye and for Miss Marvel probably, but afterwards I'd say keep an eye for any kind of superhero shows or movies in the Marvel universe that come afterwards where characters act a little bit out of character. And because I feel like some twists are coming. I feel like Secret Invasion is going to have some really big twists that's really gonna like take us all off guard by the very end of it. Like the one I'm still thinking that they set up for to be a scroll is Sharon Carter currently. Like I feel like the way they ended her story with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think there's a good chance she could be one. So I'm more than anything just curious about which other characters in upcoming Marvel movies are going to turn out to be a scroll. And I'm also really excited to see with this being a Nick Fury led show, and Nick Fury always being kind of that big connective tissue with Phase 1 being the reason all the Avengers came together. I'm really curious to see how many other characters are going to be making appearances in the show and what their roles are going to be.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that for me, that's probably going to be one of the more fun aspects of this series, and especially just leading up to it, the idea of who is a scroll. I'm pretty sure. I mean, like you said, leave it up to Marvel to go ahead and hit us with some big swerves. I don't think you do a show like Secret Invasion unless you have in mind some heroes that are actually scrolls, right? I mean, I think one of the big things that we took out of Secret Invasion that hit a lot of people was the idea of Elektra being one of the scrolls. I don't think any of us certainly saw that coming, and that kind of just led to a plethora of big reveals as that series sort of went along. So I love the pick of Sharon Carter. I think that's a great one there based off of just her change from what we saw originally to her being the power broker in Madripoor. So I think that's a great one. Let me throw this over to you, Indy. Do you have any suggestions as to maybe some Marvel characters that might be scrolls? And if not, what do you think about this article in general, the fact that they found their directors? I don't know if you're familiar with their work or not, but what does it mean to you that they at least have their directors set now?
I'm very familiar with Mr. Robot. Amazing show. I'm good with the directors and the catalog that's behind them. I really feel like the actors and actresses that are attached to the show really don't need much direction. I mean, they're being given some grade A talent, you know what I'm saying, to work with. So I believe they're just gonna be able to do their thing. As far as like with the scrolls go, I'm with Stuart about Sharon Carter, because she was just too far out of place. No matter what happened to her and how upset she was, that was just too much out of character for her, especially with the way she felt about what Cap believed in and stuff like that. What made her go do what she did because of what she felt was right and what she felt was wrong. So that's kind of crazy to me. So I'm looking for that. And the other big person that I believe could possibly be a scroll that I think people are going to think I'm crazy for is Rhodey. I really think that Rhodey could be a scroll, and I'm just praying, like most people who were fans of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that at some time we can get Daisy and Coulson back in some way.
Yes.
If there's any show to bring them back in, this is the perfect show to do it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, right? Because I mean, to this day, they've never revealed to the Avengers that, hey, Coulson's still alive. I think this would be a huge reveal in the sense of bringing Agent Coulson back to a certain extent. And yeah, I just feel like the idea of doing a secret invasion storyline just feels really incomplete without a Quake. You know what I mean? It just feels really off in the sense of not being able to have somebody represent that character on the big screen. I don't know what happened to Stuart there, but maybe he'll be back soon in a little bit. But yeah, I hope it happens.
Quake,
I hope it happens.
A Quake, a Mockingbird, you know what I'm saying? A Calvary. It's a lot of characters that were in that show that have something to do, you know what I'm saying, with Secret Invasion and everything that goes on. Because the Mockingbird thing was a big reveal too. And what was going on, because she was another high level agent. So I really want to see how they're going to handle this. And it's been so quiet because normally, and it's probably been because of the pandemic and everything that's going on, you normally, even after the show was off the air, especially through the summertime, you see a lot going on with the cast members from that show, whether it's the con circuit or them doing other things, them posting a lot online and everything like that. Man, it's been radio silence.
Really quiet. So you think they're secretly getting ready for something?
I will hope so. Like I said, you really only need to bring back if you're going, because I don't know how fans react to Quake recasting, especially with as young as Chloe is, and the fact that she did that role justice. Like, she was one of the best roles on that show. There is no way in the blue hell you recast Coulson. Especially with him showing up in Captain Marvel. You know what I'm saying? In Captain Marvel, you can't recast that man. And at some time, that storyline has to pay off. Something has to pay off for him.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I will say this, while I'm not too familiar with these particular directors, I do love that Marvel continues to just find these directors that seemingly fit these characters in this show perfectly. I mean, I feel like we've seen that not only in their movies, being able to capture just great talent to go ahead and be attached to their films, but they're still doing it and knocking it out of the park when it comes to their television shows as well. People that may not be too recognizable or too well known, the idea that Marvel is giving them that opportunity. I don't want to say I would call them like indie talents per se. I mean, maybe some of them certainly are, but you never really see too much under their belt or really big budget stuff, but Kevin Feige has always said the idea of, just the talent. If you have imagination, if you're creative and you can go ahead and express what it is that you want, you can certainly go ahead and make it work. And so I think Kevin Feige just continues to do a great job of finding the talent that works really well with these characters and the story that wants to be told. And he's given them the opportunity not only to put their names on something Marvel wise, but he's helping just boost these people's resume and just getting bigger work for other projects after they work with Marvel. So I'm really impressed with what they continue to do.
Yeah,
a big point of fact to that. Did you guys watch the interview that I sent you that Kevin Smith Bernardin had with one of the writers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I saw you sent it, but I didn't get a chance to read it. I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Yeah. I put it on my watch later playlist, but I'm definitely going to be listening to it on my commute to work.
Yeah, his part of that pod is maybe only like 20-25 minutes because it's like an hour and a half pod, but they had the section for the interview right at the beginning, man. The way he said, he broke down basically, and hopefully he doesn't get fired for this because he seemed like he didn't know if he's supposed to be talking about it or not. He broke down basically how the Marvel machine works in the background and how they select and how quick they are at placing somebody in some place. You know what I'm saying? Because he was actually being brought in for another project, didn't get picked up for it. And then when it came to Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming across, it was like, hey, you remember that guy who had that horrible idea that we didn't like? Yeah, he should be the one to write this. You know what I'm saying? And then he got picked up, but watching the success that he had and everything that he went through and the different things he wrote for and the failures that he had, and then
was that Malcolm Spellman? Was he the main writer?
Yeah,
Malcolm.
Yeah, and then how Kevin Feige saw, his visions and what he was trying to do and say, I need him for this. That Kevin Feige's eye for talent and place, not just for the talent, but placing them in the proper places and positions to get the job done is amazing. Like like that's what I want for like a GM for like my favorite football team. You know what I'm saying? Like I need everybody to be Kevin Feige.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because people always wonder like what is it that makes Marvel successful? You know, like what is it that why is a Marvel successful, but you look at some of these other franchises that kind of struggle. I think a lot to do. I mean, granted, it's not just necessarily one person. Clearly, there's you need a ton of people that are very talented that know what they're doing. But at the top, I feel like everybody needs them a Kevin Feige, that not only understands the product that they're making, but also has that eye for talent and knows how to connect people to the right characters and the right projects and stuff. That kind of stuff goes a long way. And if you got a producer or an executive at the top that is really disconnected to all of that, you're probably going to struggle for a little bit. So I think everybody wishes they had a Kevin Feige in their company, honestly.
Yeah. And I think
and if you got go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I think like another thing that it all comes down to what Marvel does so well is it's like they're constructing machine with many gears, right? And every once in a while, one of the gears has like a little bit of a tweak that needs to be done. So like in the case of Marvel, it was when it came to, they had Iron Man 1, which kept the gears going. And then you had the Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2, which definitely needed a couple of tweaks here and there. But for the most part, after those tweaks came in, through other Marvel movies like Thor and Captain America, it kept going. And then, you had, Avengers is that final gear that like kept the machine like running perfectly. The problem with DC is they saw it, I think, like to them, they saw it as, okay, we got our first gear, Man of Steel, which is, getting things done. It could have probably been a little more tuned up, but that's all right. We can still work with this. And then Dawn of Justice was a gear that they put in afterwards that unfortunately just did not keep the machine going. And rather than tuning it up, rather than, trying to fix it, and try to make the gears keep working, they decided to just restart the whole process all over again. And with Justice League and every movie since then, they've been starting from the ground up. And I think that's like a problem with a lot of other studios that try to do like their own cinematic universe. You look at Universal's Dark Universe. They literally have rebooted their Dark Universe 3 times now because they can't figure out how to get it going. And I think Marvel's reason of why they're able to keep going as good as they are is because they don't like start over. Anytime they have like a misstep, anytime they have like a Thor 2, they make up for it with a Captain America Winter Soldier.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I actually went back and watched Thor Dark World. And in hindsight, after we seen everything else, and in hindsight of everything else we watched, it's not that bad.
No,
when you see where it connects, it's not that bad. When you see it where it in everything else, and you know where it's going, it makes sense. That when you sit down, you had no idea where that movie's going, or wonder why it came out. You're not understanding. But when they do that, I'm trying to give it some type of love, even though I don't want to. But that's the way it goes. But basically what they say, basically guys, what they're saying is the championship Bulls team had a lot of parts that made that team good. But when it comes down to it, if you take Michael Jordan off that team, does that team still win championships? Answer, we saw it happen. No.
No. No.
So praise the almighty Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige. But yeah, guys, listen, we want to know your guys' thoughts. You hear this Secret Invasion has got 2 directors this time around. Probably people that you may not necessarily be familiar with, but that is what makes Marvel fantastic, giving people opportunities, linking them up correctly with the right projects, and making just television and movie magic. So I'm really eager to see what these 2 directors certainly wind up doing and bringing to a title like Secret Invasion for sure. So we'll see. I think we should probably maybe do maybe as we get closer, or maybe anytime in particular, if we can think of any other characters that we think might in fact be Skrulls, maybe we should just do an individual film of some of our predictions and like some of the characters that we think might actually turn into Skrulls at some point in time. So
what is the budget for this film that you want to do?
Oh no, not film. This video. It's a video. I ain't trying to make no movie. I'll leave that up to Stuart.
I was like, I was like, how much work do you want Stewart to do?
And we make it like a full length picture, and it's like an epic film of us predicting Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Right.
it. But guys, listen, we
Right.
want to know your thoughts. Have you heard of these two directors before? Have you seen their work? Let us know your thoughts in regards to it. And what's your excitement level in regards to Secret Invasion? Definitely let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, guys, we've got one last topic that we're going to go ahead and talk about before we get into your guys' live viewer questions. And this is something that actually crept up on us very early this week that I don't believe, I believe Stuart, you did go ahead and drop a trailer reaction to this, but Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, has in fact released its not only a poster, which looks fantastic, but also a trailer, our very first look at this upcoming sequel for Venom. And so we got that opportunity to see it. I think it maybe dropped on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Stuart, you did go ahead and do a video. If you guys want to check out Stuart's thoughts on that video, it is on our YouTube page. But I'm sure we'll highlight your thoughts also here as well, Stuart, in regards to it. So let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit. We've all had the opportunity to go ahead and see the Venom 2 trailer. Let me start off with you, Indy. What did you think about this, the trailer that you saw?
How do I state this? The opening scene to the trailer made absolutely no sense to me. I don't know. Okay, I love Tom Hardy, and I love the fact that he's able to pull this off. Venom burning breakfast, and I feel like what they're making Venom to be it feels to me just like tentacles and personality. You know what I'm saying? Like it's starting to get to the point to me where I feel like that catalyst, Eddie Brock being upset with Peter Parker and finding out Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and what made Venom what he's supposed to be, and having that character become an anti-hero after that is starting to bother me a little bit, because this scene, they're making Venom out to just be a punk. Like I'm not understanding what they're doing to this character, and then the store owner knowing that Eddie Brock is Venom and arguing with Venom, and Venom wanting to eat her, and I'm like, this is definitely a Sony trailer. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like,
here goes Sony again, right?
Yeah. Like they went, oh, we don't need Disney or Marvel to make this trailer. We'll just make the trailer ourselves. It's like they took the worst cuts, like stuff that's probably not even in the movie. Like, we're just gonna throw it in the trailer. But Woody Harrelson might single-handedly save this movie. He is somebody who does things like that. Like, he's whether it was Zombieland, he single-handedly saved Zombieland for me. He was awesome in Zombieland. And the way that maybe they need Venom to be that, because there is no Spider-Man to play opposite of Carnage. But for me, Venom's a badass. It just comes off like you could have got Vin Diesel or The Rock to play this part. Like Ed Hardy is too good of an actor to have him. He even looks unhappy playing the role in the trailer. Like, why am I doing this? What did I set myself up for? Like, this is not the Venom that I wanted this to be. Like, he can't wait till this contract is over. I don't know. The trailer didn't do anything to hype me up for this movie at all. I'm going to watch it because we do that. We love to watch train wrecks. But coming off of the first movie, it did not make me excited to see this.
I appreciate your honesty, Andy. I really do. Stuart, we'll get to you last, because of the fact that you kind of already gave some of your thoughts and your reaction. So we will hit you up last, because maybe you can pull us from the depths of despair, if you will. So listen, just to be completely upfront, honest with you guys know when it comes to the first Venom, I was not a fan of the movie. I think the movie's trash. I'm just going to be honest with you. I did not like the first Venom film. If there was a aspect of the first film that I did enjoy, it probably was the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom. There were some pretty humorous moments, some really great connections and scenes and things like that together. That's yada yada, whatever. I watched this trailer and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I just,
Ta-da.
I
Catch up.
I don't. Yeah, what? I don't even listen. Maybe I'm out of date, guys. You know, maybe I'm out of touch with current times or what Venom is in the comic books these days. This is not my Venom. Do you understand? My Venom is I want to rip the skull of Peter Parker off his body and hold his skull is still in his Spider-Man mask in the palm of my hand. Okay? Venom is a villain. And I even get the idea you want to make him an anti-hero, but all of a sudden he feels like he's coming across like a Sesame Street character all of a sudden with the jokes and the humor. And I gotta agree with you, Andy. When I look at Tom Hardy in here, I don't even see Eddie Brock. Like I just cannot make that connection of Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, this being the Venom that I recognize from the comic books. It's like they've made them the perfect strangers duo or something like from an old ABC sitcom. I just don't know what they're doing here with this character. And so for me, it just leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. I didn't know I signed up for a comedy duo all of a sudden when I'm looking at this movie. You know, I don't. I will agree with you in the sense that when I look at Woody Harrelson and I see what they're doing with Carnage, and I'm like, yes, this is Carnage. This is Woody Harrelson. I mean, just his narration I thought was great in this trailer. And maybe there are aspects of the Venom and Eddie Brock relationship that I might like again, but I don't know if this is just a really bad trailer that's showing just over the top comedy aspects of Venom that I just do not connect with at all. Or if this is going to be the whole entire movie. There's nothing wrong with humor in movies, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the relationship that we're having now is just really truly jumping off the tracks of who the Venom character is. And again, maybe I'm just out of touch with what they're doing now in current comic books, but I still don't even feel like the current comic books have made Eddie Brock or have made this Venom like what we see in the movie. So there's a real big disconnect for me here, guys. And I just thought that this trailer was trash. This is just not it's not my Venom. It's just not my Venom.
Stewart, man, Tom Hardy's gonna ruin the streak, yo. He's gonna ruin the streak of being one character and not being good, and then going to be another character and doing an amazing job.
What I will say is, I will say this. For me, will I see this movie? Absolutely. And why will I see it? Because of Woody Harrelson. I do want to see Carnage brought to life on the big screen. I think if there is a redeemable quality that, like you said, Andy, that might save this movie, it probably will in fact be Woody Harrelson as Carnage. And we'll see. I don't mind the idea of an anti-hero Venom, but can we still have a Venom that's just not jokes and still is deadly? And I mean, granted, he's still eating people and stuff, but the convenience store clerk and people knowing that he's Venom and having these casual conversations, this is a big disconnect for me. But Stuart, shed some great light on this trailer if you can. What did you enjoy about this trailer if you did?
I will say that, and I know like some people are going to probably call me out for contradicting myself when I did my reaction video. I'm calling myself out because keep in mind when I did the reaction video, it was like that was like actually one of the few times where I was actually watching the trailer for the first time while reacting to it. So, you know, I didn't really have time to gather my thoughts. So I probably in the future won't do that. I think I am going to watch the trailer before like reacting to it in the future. That said, though, yeah, I do for the most part get what you guys are saying, and I do mostly agree. I think one of the issues is that the best part of the first movie was the chemistry between Tom Hardy and Venom, and I think it came down to the fact that Venom was played the same way he was in the comic books. He was evil. He wanted to eat people, and you had Tom Hardy just being this guy like, what? No, we can't just go around and eat people. And to me, that naturally just made comedy. Just the fact that he had, he had something inside of him that kept trying to eat people, and Tom Hardy himself was trying to keep that under control, and that was a challenge for him. You know, I'm not going to try to say the first Venom movie was good. It's not a good movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of it, and I think that's what worked the most. The problem is I feel like that they knew that the chemistry between the two of them is what people liked about it. So in order to make it so they continue to have chemistry in this film, I feel like that's why they kind of dumbed down Venom in the trailers. I don't know. I hope he's not like that in the movie itself. I think what they did is they showed you some parts that we may not actually even see in the final movie. Like I think Indy was bringing that up, that we just had some really bad takes that I honestly don't think we're going to get in the movie. And I think it was there just to show that, we're still going to have that Tom Hardy and Venom chemistry together. So I do agree. The jokes, especially at the very beginning, I thought were really bad. The way Venom was talking and just like trying to crack his own jokes felt it not only felt out of character for Venom, it felt out of character for the Venom that they introduced in their own universe. Like it does not feel like the same Venom that we saw in the previous movie. So I'm hoping, in the actual movie, when we see the whole thing like play out, I'm hoping we get that same dynamic. I want the dynamic of, hey, Venom is trying to eat people. You have to keep them under control, but you also can't keep them starved. So you gotta, that whole thing of Tom Hardy trying to find that balance of keeping Venom happy without like killing too many people. Like I hope they keep that aspect to it.
It feels like they've domesticated Venom all of a sudden, like they've made him just, guys living in an apartment now. You got rules up everywhere. Like it just feels weird to me. But you're right. I can visually see the idea of, Sony picking up on, people really enjoyed this aspect of our film, so let's double down. And again, it makes me wonder, does that make this just a bad trailer, or is this indicative of what the whole movie is going to be like, right? Like did they want to force the idea of like, hey guys, remember how much you loved that connection between these two characters? Let's just throw a ton of that here in this trailer to remind people what they loved about this movie. Throw in some Carnage and this will be perfect. Well, I get the idea, but it seems like they just jumped the shark in regards to sort of that connection between Eddie Brock and Venom, and really just domesticated Venom as a symbiote. And it's just, I don't know how it rolls for me. Marcelino Vasquez, do you think that Venom 2 would be better as a rated R movie? I mean, I still think it could be successful as a PG-13 film. I think the first one was PG-13, right?
Yeah.
I think that alone showed that it certainly could be successful. I just don't know if you come back with PG-13 and you get more jokes. I just don't know if that's the route to go. But I don't know. Again, this is just a trailer. I don't know if this is indicative of what the movie is going to be. Action-wise, looked great. Special effects absolutely looked amazing. But the trailer just hit me weird and just did not bring up my level of enthusiasm for a film that, honestly, while I didn't like the first one, the idea of Andy Serkis coming back, Tom Hardy coming back, Woody Harrelson being in there, I thought to myself, they have the experience now. They know these characters. They're going to up the level in the second movie. It had me really anticipating it, but this first trailer, unfortunately, just did not do that for me. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Rated R, no, it doesn't have to be. I think the problem with Venom 2 is that it came after Daredevil. Not Daredevil, Deadpool. And I think the comedy, but that is that character. And I think that's what Sony wants Venom to be. They don't want Venom to be their spy. They want Venom to be their Deadpool. And I don't think you can pull that off with that character right now. Not saying that you couldn't do it in the future, but we need that journey for Venom to make himself that type of character, because and just jumping off with it like it was just wasn't good. And I feel like we're finna get more of the same. I feel like, man, what was the Lethal Weapon spoof that old boy was in? That's what this feels like. Like we're supposed to have Lethal Weapon, but we're getting a Lethal Weapon spoof. We're getting something that's making fun of something. You know what I'm saying? That's honestly what I feel like. And I'm starting to understand how important Spider-Man was to early Venom. Venom can stand on his own now. The Venom comics to me right now are better than the Spider-Man comics. Everything that's going on with Noel, with him becoming, you know what I'm saying, got it, like it is top notch, amazing. But you don't get to any of that without Spider-Man. And I think that's the issue. I think things were rushed. I think not having a Secret Wars beforehand, not letting that symbiote feel rejected by Peter Parker and then coming over to Eddie Brock and wanting vengeance. You know what I'm saying? All that there's a lot of stuff we're missing from that character. And I don't know, man. Or maybe let that symbiote bond with somebody else, and that's the reason why it's acting the way it acts before Eddie Brock. I think that's what we're missing, because nothing about Eddie Brock's personality that I got is the reason why the symbiote should be acting like that.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll say that I think that would have really helped the first Venom movie if Sony waited just a little bit longer, so that we could have gotten a secret Wars arc or something similar, like some way for it to start with Peter Parker, because it would have been really interesting to see Tom Holland have to deal with that, and then like have that spin off into his own solo film when he gets attached to Eddie Brock.
I mean, yeah, I definitely get what you guys are saying. I mean, I still think that Venom could have been. I don't want to say it could have been successful, because the first one was successful. But I do think that there is a way to do a Venom solo film, even without the Peter Parker and Spider-Man aspects of things. But you got to keep that edge to Venom. You know, it's like the only edge can't be I fight and I just want to eat things whenever I can secretly eat things, you know, like I think there's just got to be a lot more struggle between these two. And I just think I don't know. I just feel like they've domesticated him from what his comic book version. And I think the idea of giving us that watered down version of Venom hasn't really done it justice. I just think that they probably should have kept, maybe, I don't want to say a violent streak, but just more of that craziness that we've come to know from Venom, and balance it out with Eddie Brock a little bit more. But now it just seems like they're just roommates. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about that, but
I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think I do think it'll happen eventually when like Sony and Disney have another contract together, because they find that, you know, Spider-Man movies sell more when they work together. So I think eventually down the line I could totally see you know, Flash Thomas joining the army, and then eventually you know, merging with the symbiote and becoming Agent Venom. I could totally see that happening in the future.
We'll definitely see.
Yeah, that's another big thing is if you thought Eddie Brock needed Peter Parker, Flash Thompson definitely needs, you know what I'm saying, that Peter Parker interaction when, you know what I'm saying, when he does that. So it's literally much of the same, but we'll see what happens. We might watch this movie and find out that we're thoroughly entertained, and the points we got in the trailer might be all the points that we get, and then it's a different tone for, you know what I'm saying, the rest of the movie. You can't have Cletus Cassidy in the movie be all jokes. This dude is a psychopath. That kid that doesn't even really enjoy kill. He just kills just to kill because he has nothing else to do. So the movie can't be like, ha, I killed a male person. What are you gonna do about that? You know, I killed him before you can eat him. Like, if it's gonna be all jokes and fluffy stuff, man, I swear I will.
I will get my money back.
We'll see what happens. Like I said, it could just be a case of a bad trailer. This is just the first trailer. Maybe we'll get a second one, and we'll get more storyline details, more insight into the symbiotes a little bit more, to see, you know, what this movie certainly is going to be. But for, at least for me, first impressions, I am worried, but there are some redeemable qualities about this. We'll see what the movie turns out to be, though. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted in regards to this as we get more details.
I still think, you know, as much as I love Woody Harrelson, my fear with them casting him is that, yeah, like India was just saying, I don't want him to be funny. I want him to be like, don't get me wrong, I want like his screwed up personality to have a couple of like nervous, like, you know, one of those kind of nervous laughs that you get like every once in a while with some dark humor. But for the most part, I want him to be kind of terrifying, because that's what Carnage is supposed to be. He's not supposed to be like a funny villain. He's supposed to be like oh crap, this is actually really terrifying. That's why I would have hired Richard Brake to play Carnage personally. But don't get me wrong, I think Woody Harrelson's great. I just really hope he doesn't play it too comedic.
Yeah, I mean, just from the trailer, at least, I mean, I feel like he's tapping into that psycho killer pretty well. I don't mind the idea of balancing that horror with a little bit of comedy, as long as it's not going to be so over the top. So we'll see. But I do think I would agree with Indy here in the sense that I do think that if anybody saves this movie, it probably will be Woody Harrelson. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Carnage is going to do for this film. So we'll see what happens.
I can actually get something positive about this movie. Venom 2 will be better than Spiral.
well, I haven't even seen Spiral yet, so we'll see.
Don't.
Wait, that was the new Saw movie, right?
Yeah, the new Saw movie.
Don't do it to yourself, please. Don't.
Is it on a streaming service or in theaters? Did they release already?
I saw it. They had a early showing at, because I only think it's out. They had an early showing at the AMC by me because they just opened back up, and nice. So I went and saw it. It's like for the people in the area. You had to be a resident of like a certain township. You got to go and see it.
Oh, okay,
that's cool.
It was really bad. That's why they was giving it. That's why they was letting us see it.
I probably will check it out regardless, though, because I do want to see Chris Rock in that type of film. All right, guys,
catch up on the last 3 movies though, because I haven't seen the last 3.
I think you're probably good. Don't do it.
But it has such a confusing storyline. If you don't watch them all together, you're going to be like so lost on who's.
No, you won't be. No, you won't be. No, you won't be.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we want to know your thoughts. You guys have had the opportunity to check out Venom 2's trailer. What were your first impressions? Are you pumped for this film? Are you worried about this film? Has the trailer made you more excited for it? We definitely want to know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, guys, we will go ahead and turn over to your guys' live viewer questions for the day as we go ahead and tackle some of your questions. If anything, I know we weren't here last weekend and we did get some questions submitted to us. So we'll probably try and tackle all these real quick just to kind of play catch up, if you will. So our first set of questions comes from Doomsday. Real quick, guys, who do you think played the best and worst versions of Spider-Man and Peter Parker? For me, Toby best Spidey, Tom best both, Andrew better Spidey, worst Peter.
Yeah, about the same for me. I thought his Andrew Spider-Man was good. Wasn't a fan of his Peter Parker. I feel like Tobey Maguire still has like kind of my favorite adaptation of Peter Parker. Like that is exactly what I would imagine Peter Parker, being like in live action, reading older Spider-Man comics from the, 90s and everything. Especially like I think he perfectly represented the Spider-Man cartoon that I used to love as a kid. That was on Fox Kids back in the day. But I think Tom Holland is a really good modern adaptation of Peter Parker.
I agree with you.
And Tom Holland is the best of both worlds in my mind, period. And I'm sorry, Spider-Man 3, that dance sequence, Tobey Maguire would never live that down. He is the worst Peter Parker ever. That is the worst influenced friggin' Peter Parker from a symbiote that I've ever seen. And that Venom in that movie still probably acted better than the Venom in the current movie.
Oh, that's rough to say. Doomsday also says, which Raimi movie do you think Mary Jane looked the most amazing in? For me, it's a mix between Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Oh, Spider-Man 2, hands down. I think she looked gorgeous in that one.
Spider-Man 1, man, dude, that rain scene with her like in the dress. Good. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I did like her. And for me, the Spider-Man 2 was when she was captured by Doc Ock was probably my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great one too. What about you, Andy? Do you have a favorite Mary Jane in a Raimi movie?
I'm a Gwen Stacy fan, so.
Oh, okay.
I do have a favorite MJ. In the current Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
Oh, it has Zendaya?
Yes.
Nice. Yes. Let's see here. Doomsday also says, when Tony and Doctor Strange were arguing in Infinity War, would it have been funny if either one of them said to the other, "No shit, Sherlock"?
I made that joke a long time ago. No, I wanted it to be the two of them arguing, and Chris Pratt was the one to say, "Yeah, no shit, Sherlocks," with like plural. That's how I wanted it. And they were all together and they had it set up. They could have easily pulled that off. But I feel like Marvel was like, nah, that's too much even for us.
That's pretty damn funny. That's pretty damn funny. I do like that. All right. This is from AJ. He says, when the news first dropped of a G.I. Joe spinoff film, Snake Eyes, was first announced, what were your thoughts on having a continuation of popular characters? And do you think it would be drastically different than the previous G.I. Joe films? And what do you hope to see that's fresh but still true to the characters, especially from a toy and cartoon of the character?
It will be better. That's what I get from it. It will be better than both movies, because this is how, honestly, it should have started. It should have started with solo character movies, and then you came together and formed, formed the Joes and had it should have been an Avenger-like event when it comes to G.I. Joe, with so many different characters that you could actually go and watch and actually enjoy and have totally different style of movies with those characters, and then bring them into one world.
That's true. You definitely could have tapped into different genres for sure. What about you, Stuart?
Yeah, I don't remember what my initial reaction was. Actually, I do know that you could probably find it if you go through our older episodes of Hero Report, because the first time I heard about it was through Hero Report. So I guess that's where my reaction to it is.
Yeah, for me, I was super pumped. I was like, a Snake Eyes movie? I immediately forgot about all the past G.I. Joe films just because of the fact that I realized that this was going to be a reboot. So that alone kind of gave me hope that, all right, like we have a new game plan here. We're going to try and do something new. I'm definitely going to give Hasbro the opportunity to go ahead and prove itself here, especially if it wants to tackle a character like Snake Eyes. I mean, that's just an incredible character that I think everybody gravitates to anyway when it comes to G.I. Joe. So a great choice of knocking it out of the park with who they wanted to start this off with.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask you guys, have y'all seen any hoopla? Because the interesting thing about this is that the original Snake Eyes was Caucasian in like the lore of G.I. Joe, and nobody said anything about them switching. I wonder if that many people knew, because he was always in the mask. Like how do y'all not know y'all G.I. Joe lore?
I did have somebody react or comment on either the poster that I put, I think maybe on our Facebook page, that was like, wasn't Snake Eyes blonde? And I'm like, I honestly I couldn't remember, dude. But that's so yeah, I guess somebody has at least made once think about, or at least questioned the idea. I have seen it once.
This actually kind of fits into what I was going to say. I don't think it matters with Snake Eyes, because Snake Eyes is always meant to be an insert character. He's always supposed to be like that silent protagonist that anyone can see themselves in. So I really don't think it matters what he looks like under the mask. In fact, literally his toy, the reason they came up with it is because it was just one of those blank, like, it's hard to explain. So basically they have like kind of the blank sculptures that they paint the faces on. And it was literally just a blank sculpture that got painted black, and it was a complete mistake. They weren't even originally going to sell it. It was just a defect. And then they looked at it and said, hey, this kind of looks like a ninja. We could, this would be really cheap to make. We can mass produce a lot of these, and we'll just tell kids it's a ninja. And that's how Snake Eyes became like the most popular character in G.I. Joe. So I really don't think like it matters what's underneath the mask, because at the end of the day, the main reason people love Snake Eyes is because he's that insert character.
He's just that badass. Yeah, but and plus, I do think you're right too, Indy. I think maybe a lack of G.I. Joe lore or understanding too that most people probably don't know. But I haven't heard too much think about it, but just I did hear recently just one comment. But
like what wasn't there a time, I don't remember, was it in a movie something where like Cobra Commander actually turned into a damn snake?
Yes. Well, it turned out in the cartoon that Cobra was working for a weird snake guy with the name Cobra Commander, being different from I guess Cobra.
Okay.
Let's see here. And then AJ's got a couple questions. He says, without spoiling anything, what were your thoughts on the latest episode of Batwoman, and how much fun have you been having with Supergirl now that it's a mid-season finale just ended and 2 more episodes of Black Lightning left? So let me throw this over to you, Stuart and Indy, about the latest episode of Batwoman, if you guys have had the opportunity to see it. I know you have, Indy, but what were your thoughts on the latest episode?
It's in the review. No, I'm playing. Go check the channel, run the numbers up.
Yeah,
No,
check it out.
without spoiling it, it was possibly the best episode, the best written episode of the season. Very Sawish. And a lot of revelations were made that will make the future quickly that will make the future of the series very interesting. So the way that they sparked some stuff going forward was well planned and should help to boost the ratings of the show going forward.
Nice. What about you, Story? Did you get a chance to watch it?
I've kind of stopped keeping up with the show. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait until the whole series comes on to HBO Max, and then I'm just going to binge it. Yeah, just because I'm kind of tired of being disappointed episode after episode, thinking like maybe this will be when the show gets better again or something like that. But it hasn't happened. Like I haven't seen an episode I liked since like episode 4 of Batwoman. So it's just been like episode 4 of season 2.
Okay.
You know, because I thought episodes 3 and 4 of season 2 were really good. But then after that, the show has just been going so downhill for me. So I'm gonna
be totally honest with you. Like the reviews of episodes like 5, 6, 7, 8 were really hard to do. Like to the point where like I didn't even want to do them. I'm sitting here like I don't feel good. I really don't want to do this, but I have to do it. But like 9, like these past 2 episodes picked up and were really good. And I don't know if they're getting ready to go on a mid-season break or whatever, but this next episode, they just made a bunch of realizations, and it seems like the characters that need to be in the forefront are starting to come to the forefront, and they're starting to deal with those characters more because now they got past all the side BS that they had to do to establish other stuff. So it's something that should have happened quicker. Like what happened in the spans of those episodes should have only been like 2 episodes. But when you have so many episodes a season to tell a story, maybe they had to stretch it out so they could tell their whole story.
And with Black Lightning and Supergirl rounding out their final seasons, we do have 2 episodes left of Black Lightning, and Supergirl now going on hiatus. So congrats, Stuart. You're up next, sir. Superman and Lois certainly returns this week. I know you're eager to go ahead and get into it, but what have you guys thought? If you have been keeping up with either Supergirl or Black Lightning, how have you enjoyed their seasons so far?
I haven't been able to watch Supergirl at all because I have no idea what the hell's going on. I can't remember what happened last season, and like it's just all a blur. So I just stopped. And then like what he's doing with Batwoman, I'm gonna do with Supergirl. But Black Lightning has been phenomenal. I would have to say I am really in tune with what they're doing in Black Lightning. It's been some less than stellar acting from some actors and actresses that I wasn't expecting to come from. I don't know if they're just like they're over the show or they're up, you know, they just like let's get this done so we can get up out of here. It feels like it sometimes. But man, Tobias is killing it. You know, it's a lot of stuff that's going on that I really like. And I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap everything up in just 2 episodes. I feel like it should be more than 2 episodes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too. I do wishing maybe they went 15 episodes this season at least. But we'll see. What about you, Stuart? Have you been keeping up with Supergirl?
Yeah. So with Supergirl, I just think it's been these last few episodes have actually been like really fun. I'm enjoying this season a lot more than I did season 5. Season 5 felt very what everyone thought season 4 was going to be from the trailers. That's what season 5 was. I want to say it was, to me, season 5's overall message, I think, felt way too one-sided and just felt very much like, oh, technology is ruining everyone's lives. And I don't know, I'm kind of getting sick of that message. So I prefer it when it's done like with kind of a, okay, technology can be dangerous, but here's the benefits of it, but here's also the negatives of it. I think like movies like Mitchell's versus the Machines handles that topic absolutely amazing. highly recommend checking that movie out. It's on Netflix. But yeah, anyways, so I think with Supergirl season 6, I have been really enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. And then with the Black Lightning, I've been really loving this last season. I think the highlights for me, though, funny enough, are all the Painkiller stuff, getting me really excited for his spinoff show, because anytime there's a fight scene with him, I just love how suddenly like it's almost like the entire universe's rules of how like crime bosses in Black Lightning change, and then every person he fights suddenly has like a game of Game of Death. That was the movie. It's like a Game of Death like setup where like he fights a few henchmen at a time until fighting like the 2 really powerful henchmen before fighting the boss. And that's happened like 3 times now, and I absolutely love it. It's cheesy but so great. I think the only thing I'm not a fan of with Black Lightning season is it started out with just the relationship with Anissa and Grace. But now I'm just not a fan of just a lot of the relationships in the show in general, because I feel like Jefferson and Lynn, I feel like at this point they're just not compatible anymore, and they should really stop trying to make their relationship work at this point.
Yeah, no, oh, go ahead, Indy. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I totally agree with you on the Painkiller stuff, especially because it seems like whoever's directing these episodes, writing these episodes, goes, well, this has been pretty boring for 15 minutes. Insert Painkiller, and then it's like it gets you hype about what's going on again, because it's always a bunch of senseless dialogue, or it's a Lynn and Black Lightning fight, and then jump the Painkiller to get us out of there, to hype us back up to what's going on. Like that's exactly what happens every time, and I'm there for it.
I think I even mentioned that in the Black Lightning review. I was like, sometimes I feel like Painkiller is carrying this last season a little bit, at least like the last half of it, ever since we've gotten his pilot episode.
Nah, my boy's
very pissed if his show doesn't get picked up.
My boy's looking like, look, yo, I saw what happened to Green Arrow and the Canaries. He was like, I saw what happened to Most Wanted over there on ABC. He's like, look, we got to do something to make sure the show gets picked up, bro.
Like, I need a job. I need a job. Yeah. He's like, I need this to happen. No, I totally agree. When it comes to Supergirl, I've actually really enjoyed this season. I think everybody is honestly really stepped up. I think the whole entire cast is really putting in their best work for their final season. And so it actually has made me really not want this show to go off the air, to like, please give me just one more season of it. But I've really enjoyed how they've handled the idea of Melissa Benoist not really being on set very early on in the season. The fact of the storyline that they've been able to come up with the Phantom Zones and their super friends having to really do a lot of the heavy lifting, I think has really showcased their own power as superheroes and being able to carry the show on their own if they wanted to. I've loved how Lena's fit into the group. So I think they've done some really great stuff, even without Melissa Benoist around. And while she certainly has had scenes in the first 7 or so episodes, I think they've handled her storyline really beautifully in regards to her being trapped in the Phantom Zone, her stuff with her dad, played by Jason Burr from, I think the show I remember him from mostly growing up was Roswell, or Jason Bear, I should say. But I've really been impressed with what they've done with season 6, and it, especially even the Back to the Future episodes where they go back to 2009. I wasn't expecting much from those episodes, but I had a really fun time watching it. So I think they've knocked it out of their park for their first half. So it's, for me, it's going to suck having to wait till August to get the second half of this series, but I am really looking forward to it. And same thing with Black Lightning. Black Lightning has just been so consistent with its storytelling each and every season, and this season is no difference at all. I will agree with you, Stuart, in the sense of when it comes to Jefferson and Lynn, there are moments that just make me think, you know what, after everything these two characters have been through, we may be getting to the point of these characters going back to where they were all the way in season 1 when they began. You know, the idea of them, clearly they're not married, but they were just kind of trying to come together again and really be that family to raise each other and things like that. So I do think there's going to be some animosity and I think where they settle at will probably be just doing things the way that they were back at the beginning of season 1 and not getting married. Because the last episode, we saw Jefferson even talk about the idea of getting married or getting married again. And Lynn just completely like ignored the shit out of his question and just kind of, did her own thing in that regard. So I am interested to see where this ends. I agree with you, Indy. I would love this to have more episodes because it feels like 13 may just not be enough to wrap this all up. But I am interested to see what Salim Akeem wind up doing. I don't know what that was. What they wind up doing to go ahead and wrap it up. But yeah, if Painkiller doesn't get his spinoff, I will be highly disappointed because I do feel as though if you didn't think the pilot alone was enough to convince you to give him a series of his own, every episode after that, even like the brief 5-6 minutes we see him in, continue to add to reasons why we need a Painkiller series. And I'm glad that you brought up the Game of Death, Stuart, because in my review I talked about that specifically. Like, I love the idea that they are tapping into Jordan Calloway and showcasing just him having just a martial arts in general, but a lot of the fights, it felt very much like Game of Death in the sense of, you got to go up to the next level to get to that boss. And so I don't know, it feels very much like they're maybe doing that. I don't know if this is a gigantic homage to Bruce Lee or not, but it definitely feels that way when I watch Painkiller on screen. So I love what they're doing. Both seasons, I think, have been really stellar so far. So I'm really eager. Let's see here. AJ also says, I may have already asked this in my previous set of questions, but with Bart Allen making his debut on The Flash and the return of Jessica Parker Kennedy as Nora West Allen for the 150th episode, how do you think they would be used post-crisis? And do you think Barry will treat Bart the same way he treated Nora by being a dick? And how would Barry and Iris react to Nora being alive? So I'll set this over to both of you guys to answer.
To be totally honest with you, I haven't read the titles of the episodes with the Flash because I want everything to be a surprise. I know they're coming like mid season. But for me it depends on if the Nora Speed Force section is gone or not. If they're still dealing with that, or if they're not dealing with that, is how he's going to react to them being there or not, is how I feel. So he's going to be extreme. They need something good to happen. So Nora coming back is something that I feel like could give them hope, because I feel like they're losing a lot of hope in what's going on and everything that's happening. So I mean, we'll see. But if it comes to it, is Nora just showing up just to die again? I don't know how time works in the Flash anymore. Like,
I hope not.
I really don't. Like, is it like an endless circle for her where she just pops up at certain points, but she's going to eventually die a horrible death type thing? Like, I don't know how that works. So are you happy to see somebody that's going to die in the future?
I don't think they're going to go that route. I do think I think it's really they're just going to be there for that one episode to show Barry Allen that the future is still bright. He may not have his kid may not have been born the same way she was before, but now she's born with a twin brother, and he's going to learn that he and Iris do have a future, and I think it's just going to be there to celebrate 150 episodes of The Flash. We might be seeing the two of them in future episodes of season 8, but I don't think they're going to become series regulars or anything like that. And because of that, I'm going with the assumption if they're only in one episode, I'm hoping that Barry isn't like a dick or anything, because that was kind of my issue with the previous episode. It wasn't like the decision that he wanted to make in the episode that bothered me, because like I totally saw his point of view. It was more how he treated everyone who disagreed with him, how he was he had this really annoying, arrogant personality that felt so out of character for him, where he's like, oh, no, this is the only way. Trust me, I'm the Flash. I know what I'm talking about. It was bizarre, and I hope he's not like that anymore. I hope that was just a really badly written episode, because if he's still like that with the 150th anniversary where he's meeting his children from the future, and he's like, no, you guys suck. You got to listen to me. I'm the Flash. I'm going to be really pissed if that's how they treat the 150th episode.
I think I totally get what you're saying, but I think that came from him knowing he was right about Nora to start off with. Like listening to Iris and accepting and letting her in and everything like that. When he was being hands off, he was that he needs to trust his gut type thing. You know what I'm saying? More and like trust his gut rather than his heart. I think that's what they're trying to have him deal with. They're just not writing it well enough for it to come across the screen the proper way. But he was just extra dickish to Cisco for no reason at all. Like you saw that, and I was like, see, this is why this man, like when I saw that happen, I'm like, I'm glad he's leaving because he doesn't deserve that. That's exactly what I thought. Like that, like it felt like they wrote that just because he won't be there next season. Like they wanted to be as much of a dick as possible on how they felt about him leaving. That's what it felt like with the way it was delivered. But it also shows how strong his real bonds are. Like the bonds that he has with real people, especially with Iris turning and understanding that Barry's right about stuff, because she has her attitude about it's my way. It's supposed to be Team Flash, but it's my way or it's wrong. Is how she comes off to me all the time. No, Barry, I'm right. You need to listen to me. And she's wrong all the time. And he still does it.
I will say I am glad that we made it through an episode without Indy saying that Iris West needs to die. So I am glad that we made it through a successful show,
because I finally realized that she's not going to die. Like it's not going to happen. Like they rather send Frost to jail for life with no parole and write Cisco off before they kill. I see what's happening here, and I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting it. I'm just gonna let bygones be bygones.
I get you.
Maybe the actress who plays her gets beat up by somebody's wife because she's sleeping with them.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Next question, Jessica. Would you like Jessica Friedman? She says, would you like to see Spider-Woman get her own show or movie one day? And are the Arrowverse shows gonna leave Netflix one day and go over to HBO Max? So in regards to Spider-Woman, there are talks, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's supposed to be having a movie that might be in development, I think. In regards to, was it Jessica Drew character? I thought I had heard some rumblings either of a Spider-Woman or maybe even a Silk movie or television series. So
there was the Silk one that was going to be by the same woman that directed Booksmart, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so there have been rumblings, Jessica. So maybe there may be a possibility one day. And are the Arrowverse shows are going to leave Netflix one day and go over to HBO Max? I would assume so, unless they want to keep the licensing agreement going with Netflix. I don't know how long those licensing agreements last for. I mean, we've already kind of seen Stargirl over there, Batwoman's over there already. So I think it's just probably a matter of time. You guys agree?
With Superman and Lois, Batwoman, and Stargirl already being on HBO Max, they're just waiting for the time to expire on Netflix for them to eventually move all of that over to HBO Max. They just currently can't because Netflix has exclusive rights for those specific shows, and it might be like for another, because I assume Netflix is assuming these shows are going to go on for like 10, 12 years. So I feel like that's probably how long the contract was, is we get to keep these shows for like 12 years, and then you guys can have them back.
If you guys haven't checked out Superman and Lois, I believe it's still on HBO Max until Superman and Lois drops again. What is that? Tuesday?
This upcoming Tuesday. But even then, once it leaves HBO Max, you'll still be able to watch those 5 episodes on the CW, or at least the last 4 episodes.
So yeah, definitely go ahead and check it out if you need to go ahead and catch up with Superman and Lois. Jessica Fryman does have another question. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. She doesn't clarify the show, but she says, when do you think Katie will get her real memories back? Do you know who she's referring to?
Wait, in regards to which show?
It doesn't say. It just says, when do you think Katie will get her real memories back?
In Batwoman, because I guess she's been hypnotized to think she's someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she meant
totally off. When she said Katie, I was like, You talking about Caitlin Snow? Because
That's what I thought for a second
that's what
too, but
false
it's
calls are like Katie. I'm like, she has a.
she had
You
it
mean
spelled.
Kate?
Yeah, she
You
had it
mean
spelled
Kate?
wrong in here, so it threw me off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm assuming that's what she means.
By the end of the season. By the end of the season, they're fast tracking the crap out of that. Like it
Really? Okay.
went from one episode of her being tortured, one episode of her being hypnotized, to the very next episode, Alice figuring everything out. This will be
Wow, yeah.
very quick.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And she also thinks that a Legion of Superheroes spinoff sounds like an awesome idea. So she must have saw our Legions of Superhero video that we wind up doing a couple weeks last week or so. Let's see here.
I hope the CW watches your video, because that would be great if they saw it and that was like what led to them leading to the decision of, you know what, this guy brings up some good points. Let's do that Legion of Superhero spinoff show.
Yeah, I feel like we probably would have heard about it already, so that's what kind of gives me worry. But I mean, you never know.
Well, they haven't seen your video yet, so clearly we got to keep pushing it.
Don't let's do it. Let's bring him in to help write it.
Yeah, I got some ideas. Why not? Let's see here. Marcelino has a couple of questions. Are you guys hoping to make future videos that involve collaborating with other YouTubers or joining other YouTubers live streams? Maybe one or two. I haven't really thought about it too much, in the sense that if anything, probably looking at bringing on other people to definitely join our crew. Maybe one or two other reviewers would be great. If anything, maybe just having them come on to co-host a couple of episodes with us here or there. I would be definitely open for that. I have like maybe one or two people in mind already I'd like to reach out to, but I don't know if it's going to be, I feel like we've got ourselves a pretty stellar gang here as it is. But I wouldn't mind bringing in other people to eventually join our group and maybe collaborate in the future. So we'll see what happens.
Wouldn't mind doing a collaboration with either Comic Book Cast or Erickson Reloaded.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
If it's not Kevin Smith, I don't want to do it. But no, I collaborate with people like weekly. Like it's always stuff going on. And I mean, Anime Assemble right here is a collaboration from the outside. It ended up coming to the channel weekly. So I mean, just stay tuned. We're always shaking and moving and doing cool stuff.
Yeah, we always got something working up. Whenever a character gets recast by a different actor, should the studio bother to give an explanation why the character looks different, or should they not bother and just process and proceed as planned? He says, for me personally, I don't think the studio should bother to give an explanation. It's just not worth it.
They didn't they didn't with Rhodey. That just popped up and it was just another guy.
Yeah.
And it didn't bother us at all. They
didn't with Hulk.
No, they didn't with Hulk at all. It just popped up and
no one cared
different
because it worked.
Yeah. As far as big moves that we recognize like that, it happens all the time. People get recast for different roles with the same character. It happened with I think the one that bothered me the most might be Three Ninjas or something like that. And then like it was one of Three Ninjas movies, and I was like, these aren't the same boys. Not realizing that boys grow up and can't be boys the whole time. But there's arguments for both sides. The way that they're handling the recasting of Ruby Rose for Kate Kane is actually very well done in the way they're trying to implement it in the story. So it just all depends on whether it benefits the story or not, because Wallace Day was actually an amazing casting to replace Ruby Rose, especially with the standout that she was on Krypton, because
I think she was probably one of our recommendations. I think when we talked
she definitely was, especially because she stood out so well on Krypton. Especially in the latter episodes, that was one of the reasons why I was upset that the show got canceled, is because of her breaking out of her shell and actually becoming a character worth watching on that show. And she's gorgeous. That too. That always helps. But in a few episodes that she's had, with the few lines she's had in the show, she's already made herself a staple on, this show. And it helps when you have her when you have a character acting across from Alice, you know what I'm saying, one of the top characters on the show to start off. To me, the best character on the show is Alice. And being across from her, Rachel is just killing it. And Rachel and Wallace Day are going to do amazing things with the rest of the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
For me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish more, or I guess it doesn't happen often. I think I'm just thinking of how the fact it happened like 3 times on 3 different CW shows this year, how there was constantly an explanation for the recasting, or in one case, just the character just straight up walking off set with like a helmet on, which was kind of funny, I guess, with Ralph in The Flash. But yeah, it is kind of funny to me how, like, you know, 3 of the shows had a thing with casting where they had to replace the cast members. And for me personally, and it might just be coming from a writing standpoint, I just think it's better to not acknowledge it, maybe make a joke about it, like, hey, did you do something new with your hair? But I kind of think for the most part, it's better to just like recast and not acknowledge, unless it's because like an actor had passed away, because then I can see that coming off as very disrespectful to immediately just be like, oh, well, this person's dead, let's just have this guy take over the role. I can see that being a really bad idea, but for the most part, I think it's just easier to recast and not really have to acknowledge it. And
yeah, I'm with you both. I'm really not a fan. I really don't. For me, it doesn't matter. If you're gonna explain it, that's fine. Make a great explanation. But I'm pretty okay with the idea of just doing it and just moving forward. You know. So yeah, I definitely agree with all of you guys, though. Like the one I'm assuming another one you're probably thinking about, Stuart, is the China McCain and the new actress that's playing JJ over there in regards to like they had. I can tell you. Yeah, like, I know definitely for
really,
you.
I'll say this though, I really love the actress that they replaced her with. But again, getting to that led to what I thought was probably the worst episode that season. If I'm being honest, like I definitely wasn't a fan of the episode where
changing her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole I gotta go to Central City and pick this up, and then really the next scene is literally him returning from Central City. Like, damn, that was quick. No Barry Allen cameo. Okay, that's cool. I'll take that. No Cisco cameo. All right, that works. Yeah.
Pick this up and because the midichlorians came out of me, she's darker now because I'm darker.
I love it. And then Marcelino, his second question is a little bit more, I don't want to say personal, but definitely a hard-hitting question. How do you guys handle online trolls and assholes that call you out as AJWs, and that you guys promote SJW content like Black Superman movie, Arrowverse, Disney Star Wars, is what they would label as SJ content. So how do you guys handle online trolls that call you out as SJWs?
I don't think we're famous enough to deal with those yet. Because
we don't have.
I've seen like a couple of comments here and there, but they're so few and far in between that it, like the one I can think of right now, which I thought was really, I just thought it was a bizarre comment, so I didn't even want to delete it because it was just such a weird looking comment. I'm like, okay, it was the one that we got from our highlight video of Kathleen Kennedy when we were talking about her having her contract renewed. We had this one dude that like had a weird comment where he was like acting like he was on a stage because he goes, lights fade in, and then he starts like kind of giving this like a weird thing where he's quoting Gina, and even though we didn't even bring her up in the entire video that we did about Kathleen, and then he like kind of just says, you can either join the revolution or you can stand in the way. Lights fade out. I recommend checking out that comment. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to give too much attention to that kind of stuff. I mean, listen, we stand for what we stand for. If people have an issue with it, then they can get the F off of our channel, you know? I mean, we're just going to be completely honest about our thoughts and our opinions on a lot of this stuff. If I just feel like people like that just don't know how to emotionally handle themselves. Just really childish sometimes. Like, you know, it's okay if you have your own beliefs, but you don't got to get on me because I believe something completely different than you or don't support the same people that you do, you know. So I try not to give attention too much to the trolls, especially if it's something that, like, I really don't want to get into a long ass debate with you. So I'll try not to highlight your comments or talk too much about your comments directly, because I just think stuff like that is just way too close-minded in a world that we live in these days, where everything is just a melting pot. If people want to stay in their own little bubble, that's more than fine, but don't put that shit on me because of the fact that I'm more open-minded and I'm okay with recognizing what type of community and society we live in these days. I mean, it's not like we purposefully try to push it forward, but we're open to the idea of diversity and inclusion. I mean, look at us. I mean, damn, Black, Puerto Rican, and Black, white. I mean, come on, we're a melting pot here at A+ Opinions as it is. So I think, if anything, I don't know. I just think we're just more open to talking about that stuff. So I try to ignore it, though.
I think the only time a comment like that kind of annoyed me, not like enough to where I was like, oh, screw you or anything like that. It just kind of got on my nerves, was when we were talking about movie theaters being closed because of COVID. And I guess someone who was watching us live thought that was political of us to say. So they leave us a comment in the live chat saying, yeah, I'm done watching you guys. We're going to talk about politics. It's just like, how is I don't get how that was political.
Yeah, no, I do remember that comment too. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's just health. It's just the world that we're living in these days. Like, if you want to put blindfolds on, that's more than fine. You don't have to support our content. But we're just going to tell it to you like it is. We're always going to be upfront and honest with you. And if we have topics we want to talk about, it's not because we're picking them because we think it's SJW. We're just living humanity, guys. I don't think we have to put a label to things. I think we just have no problem in attacking topics that deal with inclusion and diversity.
Look, y'all can look on here and y'all can see the melanin, you know what I'm saying, in my skin. And I've dealt with way worse than trolls on the internet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I've dealt with trolls in real life, growing up where I grew up at. I tend to just write songs like Black Luxury and feature people like Adam Perez on them in order to make sure that my side of what needs to be heard is heard. I love you, even though you hate me for doing what I need, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to do. It doesn't bother me. Trolls are going to be trolls. And to me, I tell you, thank you for coming on the video to troll, because you gave me the extra view I needed in order to make money this month. So it's not going to bother me none. I needed that comment to make my channel look genuine and make the video look like it was real. So if something I said upset you, I'm sorry, but it's real life. Suck it up. You'll learn whenever. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. These characters are there. Be upset about who wrote Miles Morales. If you don't like the way we talk or the way we do, be upset with Stan Lee for creating a lot of these incredible characters, these diverse universes, you know what I'm saying, that they live in. Be upset at those people. You know what I'm saying? Don't be upset at us. Be upset with people like Jonathan Hickman, who decides that he wants to have Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey live together in a room and have an interpersonal relationship. That's the stuff you should be upset about, because there's no room for that in comics. That's bad.
No, man. Well said. Well said. I mean, yeah. I just think, honestly, I just do think that there is just a disconnect with people. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. With my Miles Morales hair, is that what's doing it for me these days? Yeah, no, I just, it's just funny to me. There's the idea that comic books have always been diverse and have always tackled just really difficult topics, that unfortunately do make some people uncomfortable, but it also tackles the real world. You know what I mean? And we've been getting this type of stuff for years. So the fact that we have trolls and people that get upset about this stuff just makes me question like their own validity about like, how much do you know about this world of nerd pop culture and the stuff that we're talking about, right? Like, don't put your own belief system on these characters and us that are simply just talking about them when these characters have been well established over the years. It just feels like there's a really big disconnect in regards to it these days, and people taking these characters now and turning them more political than they certainly need to be. But they've always tackled those tough decisions throughout comics, and they're just now being represented on the big screen. And I don't know. I don't know why that scares people so much to be on the defensive all the time when people do talk about that type of stuff. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But you know what? For the most part, outside of Indy saying, you know what? Hey, thanks for the comment. Thanks for the view. But I really try not to give too much energy to it. It is what it is. You're always going to have those type of people, unfortunately. But
oh yeah, and to me, it's just hilarious when I see people who claim to love the X-Men franchise, but then also hate it when comic books get political, because it's just like, wow, do you not realize the irony in what you're just saying?
Yeah, it makes no sense sometimes. So we'll see, guys. But thank you very much for the questions, Marcelino. We really do appreciate it. And everybody that certainly went ahead and gave their questions to us today. And remember, you guys can always submit your questions to us at any particular time during the week. You can go ahead and submit them over to aplusopinions@gmail.com. Again, aplusopinions@gmail.com. If for some reason we're not able to get to your comments, we definitely will always get to your questions if you have any, whether you're watching a television show, reading a news article that really fascinates you that you want to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into. Definitely go ahead and submit them over to aplusopinions@gmail.com. Before we wrap up, fellas, any last comments any comments that you guys saw that you want to look at? He said, I thought Indy was a single man. I remember Valentine's Day, he said he's solo for the occasion.
Just because I have a kid does not mean that I'm in a relationship.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? Moms can be single moms all the time. We can't be single dads. Come on, man.
There you go. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what else we wind up having in here. Edward Sanchez going back to Masters of the Universe, saying the animation looks so beautiful. Yeah, it looks great. I can honestly see the Castlevania impressions on this series already.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I can't really comment on the animation itself, like the movement, but in terms of like the style of it, I think it is the perfect modern adaptation when it comes to taking what looked really cool in the 80s and bringing it into like, modern animation. I think it's like perfect. So I can't wait to see what they do with it.
And I will say, I know, a lot, especially current times, a lot of animation has turned very CG, and I'm sure that there are some CG elements to it. So it is nice to kind of see the idea here of just the art and kind of 2D kind of aspect that we're kind of getting from this animation. I kind of like it.
I definitely prefer that compared to what we got from the full 3D animation of Voltron. Like this is the style of animation I wanted Voltron to have.
I kind of dig the Voltron one that we got from Netflix. You mean?
Mm-hmm. I wanted the Voltron to have that style of animation. Sometimes the 3D.
Oh, you mean like the robot itself?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
Like I'll like I see what you're saying, but personally, I kind of disagree. I actually think Voltron looked really good, and they were able to do a lot more fluid animation with him because he was 3D. But yeah, if they were able to pull off those exact same animation movements with a 2D model, though, then yeah, definitely give me that. But I think for the most part, when it comes to robots, I totally get why like more animators are going with the CG route with that.
Mm-hmm. Adrian Perez makes a comment. They just wrapped Batwoman season 2 filming. I hadn't heard that. Have you heard that anywhere?
Yeah, I heard that. They posted it on Instagram, but I'm like,
oh, nice.
I'm like, okay. Next episode, please.
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like because I think The Flash is wrapping up its final episode now because they just finished their 150th episode. And what's kind of funny to think about actually is that by the time Supergirl ends, it'll be like the last couple episodes of Supergirl. They'll already be starting season 8 of The Flash.
Jeez Louise, that's so crazy to me. That's so damn crazy to me. He also says, my favorite character of the teenage storyline from Supergirl was the young version of Cat Grant. She stole the show for me. I gotta agree. I was really impressed with this young Cat Grant. Eliza Helm, I think her name was. She looks like a young Clarissa Flockhart, and she just had the mannerisms and the personality just like Cat Grant. I thought it was great. What did you guys think of it? If you caught it,
it was good. That was really good.
Oh boy, I'm in the minority here. I actually
didn't like it?
That was my least favorite part of the 2-parter was her personally. Like to me, I don't know. To me, she played it she played it too much like a parody, and I guess maybe that
Gotcha.
works because it is a younger version of her. So I guess in a way it works because she hasn't fully developed as a character yet. So it makes sense that she would just be using kind of the more tropey aspects of her character without like the actual personality factor. But to me, it just felt more like someone imitating and less like someone playing a younger version of her.
I definitely get what you're saying there. I definitely get what you're saying. Let's see here. AJ does say, I don't know if you've already answered, but check out Michael B. Jordan's new movie, No Remorse, on Amazon. It's really good in my opinion. Have you guys had the opportunity to check it out?
I've watched it a couple of times. To me, it's just a typical Tom Clancy flick. Like it's gonna entertain you. It's gonna be dope. I think it's getting the hype that it's getting because of who's starring in the role. And if it was anybody else, the movie would be just as good. It just wouldn't be getting the hype that it's getting right now.
Yeah, I didn't mind it so much. I definitely enjoyed it. I wouldn't say I was over the top about it, but you know, solid film, and I did like Michael B. Jordan in it. For me, it was tough to see. Well, I don't want to, you know, the stuff that he has to deal with in regards to his family. That was really tough. I didn't think that they would do that in the movie, but I was like, damn, I didn't see that coming.
They did it better in another movie called A Man Apart that Vin Diesel was in. Probably one of the best movies that I've seen him in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll have to tackle that. And then last question here. Do you think all the Arrowverse shows will start filming their renewed season after they go on summer break, or not go on break at all, especially since we were still dealing with COVID?
Oh, they're getting a break.
It's going to be from what I've heard with the filming schedule, like they are getting a break, but it's not going to be like the 3 or 4 month period break. It's going to be like maybe a month at the most, because they really want to go back into their usual scheduled routine of the 23 episode seasons, and I think they want to go back to their original pattern. So yeah, they'll have a little bit of a break, but they just got to be careful not to get too relaxed, because you know, as soon as they get like nice and comfy on the couch, they're gonna get that call of, "Hey, we need you back in Vancouver."
Yeah, it'll be there before you know it. All right, guys. I think other than that, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up our episode of A+ Hero Report, along with our live viewer questions and comments. So, guys, thank you very much for everybody's participation this weekend, your views, your thoughts on all of our topics. That we certainly definitely see you guys back again next Sunday live at noon Central Time with more topics to certainly go ahead and round up for the week for you guys. But real quick here before we leave, let me go and display everybody's information. Stuart, if anybody wants to find you on social media, sir, where can they find you at?
You guys can reach out to me at TurboStew01 over on Twitter. You can also follow my channel, Turbo Studios.
Awesome, Stuart. And then for Indy, working on any projects lately, or what do you got going for you? Why can't I switch this character? There we go.
Yeah, there's another EP in the works that's going to come out in 2 months called Banner versus McCoy. Okay. Just stay in the tune for that. But hey, nerdmixgaming.live/merch, nerdmixgaming.live/merch. There are brand new t-shirt and designs and stuff up there for you guys to check out. Affordable prices. Come get you some nerd armor.
Yes, very much so. And if people want to go ahead and follow you on social media, where can they find you at, sir?
At Nerd Mix Alpha everywhere, but you know where you need to be is right here, A+ Hero Report. So hit that subscribe, hit that like button, share with your friends, and join the Patreon so you can come chat with these guys in the Discord, because I'm never there.
Yeah, I'm never there either. We do need to be more active in there, even if it's just us talking amongst ourselves. I would much rather prefer that. And so when people do come in, they'll be like, "Oh, people really do talk around here." Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should start using that instead of Facebook.
The Facebook Messenger?
Messages. Yeah, instead of Facebook, we'll send messages.
We'd be having amazing conversations in the Facebook Messenger.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We just got to carry that conversation over to our Discord community. But yeah, definitely go ahead and check us out if you have it on Patreon. Again, patreon.com/A+opinions. We've got exclusive content, early access content, not only for A+ Hero Report, but also our other YouTube channel, A+ More Phenomenal. So really 2 YouTube channels worth of exclusive and early access content for you guys. We got tiers from $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, however you you certainly want to go ahead and support the channel. But if for some reason, if you can't support us monetarily, you know how you can support us. Hit that big thumbs up if you love our content. That big like button definitely does go a long way. Subscribe to our channel as well, and definitely click that bell notification so when we drop brand new videos, you guys can certainly be notified. If you want to go ahead and follow us on social media, you can do so right here or right here at A Plus Opinions. Very active over on Twitter as well as our main Facebook page. And you can also catch us over on Instagram as well as Twitch for you gamers as well. But until next time, guys, do us a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.